Here we are. We are live. Sorry, just as I was about to hit that live button, somebody knocked on my door here. So I'm just a few minutes late. Got to send out this message now. There we go. Fate truck, and you just had another package arrive. So check your text messages here. How's everybody doing today? It's been a while. I've been away. Oh geez, we got a bunch of people in here already. Killian's trucking. Thanks for coming in. Grade 8 transportation. We got all the usual suspects in here today. Thanks for popping in. Just wanted to catch up on a few things here today. Oh, it looks like a DIY went live. Got the notification. It's good. At least I get my own notifications. I don't get anybody else's here lately. So yeah, was out on the road for just over a week. Had my personal best week ever. Probably could have done some better weeks last year when things were hot, but I wasn't out on the road for extended periods of time last year, so I just had my big week this last week here. Ooh, B-Man, Hemi forever. We got to talk. We'll come back to you. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna go. Don't go anywhere. See, I had last week. I had Monday a load that needed to pick up here in Wisconsin and go out to Massachusetts, and nobody wanted it or could make the schedule the delivery. So I'm like, well, I'll jump in the truck and go do it my damn self. So I did. What did that one? That one was a $5,000 load going to Massachusetts. So that's how we started the week. Delivered out there. Oh, and there's a good part to all this. I'll get to in a minute. It's also a first time I've ever successfully pulled it off. Delivered out there. Next morning, had two pickups. The first one was 6 miles from where I delivered. So I was able to buzz over and sleep right at that pickup. And then the next one was 22 miles away. Got those two pickups on going down to Jersey and got $1,800 for that. It was a total of 3 pallets. I got 1 pallet at the first pick and 2 pallets at the second pick. So I picked that up, went down to somewhere in northern Jersey and decided to go to bed. Woke up the next morning and to a call said, hey, we just had a truck fall off a load over in Pennsylvania. It's 16 pallets. You only got 3 pallets on your trailer. Could you buzz over into Pennsylvania, pick this load up, and bring it in with you? And we'll pay you the full truckload on that one also. So basically $2,800 to run from Massachusetts down to Jersey, southern Jersey. Unloaded that one. Picked up the next day. Multi-stop load here back to the Midwest for another $5,000. Usually those loads pay a little more, but that one was a smaller load. They're short on product, so LTL. A lot of time pays by piece count and weight. The figures in, but anyway, picked that one up, brought it back here, and then grabbed a load from Minnesota back to Wisconsin for $1,200. So managed to pull off $14,000 for the week. Just over a week, to be truthful. It was like 8 days. So, but my personal best week ever, and best part of it all, biggest part of it all, none of it came from the load board. Had my best week ever. Everything but that last load back to Wisconsin was customer freight. And the one that I pulled from Minnesota back to Wisconsin, that was through a contact we've been using. They're technically a broker, but I didn't pull it off the board. I called them and said, hey, help me out here. So $14,000 week, no load board. Boy, I wish I could do that every week. Wouldn't that be wonderful? But it's not the perfect world, right? So kind of busy around here. Having all kinds of requests and opportunities here thrown my way. So been busy a lot here lately. So that's kind of the best week ever part of it. But kind of the worst week too. So talk about that a little bit. So, and also in that period there, I managed to broker out 3 loads from the truck, and that is very difficult trying to do that computer work and all that stuff while I'm in the truck. So, too busy to be on YouTube for the week. Way too busy, but we pulled it off. I don't know how, because a whole lot of other things happened that week. Um, I had to give back 2 loads. One of them was, they weren't mine, they were for other drivers. One of them was a broker load that I absolutely beat the broker up on that one. And then, so the driver had been off for 2 weeks getting a clutch put in the truck and new tires put on. First day back, booked him a really good load down to the Carolinas. 2 pickups, 3 drops. First pickup, got there, got it on, went to pull out of the dock, and the truck kept shutting down. I'm like, oh, geez. Started up, sound like a bag of gravel in the engine. I'm like, ooh, boy, that ain't good. So shut her down, get towed. So we had to have the customer unload that before he pulled out of the dock. Had to give that load back. Broker was really not happy about that, but I don't blame him. What can you do? You know, a breakdown's a breakdown. Try not to do that, but and then if you watch Fate Trucking's channel, you know that he had a breakdown, kind of a bad one here. So I had to give back a customer load on that one. The first time I had to give back a customer load, that sucked. I didn't like doing that or making that call. But she's like, "Oh crap," and I'm like, "Yeah." And this was a Friday, midday, not a lot of time left in the day, but she managed to get somebody else to do it. I could have put it on the brokerage and tried to cover it, but I was, doing all this stuff. I still got to do my job. Um, so I couldn't deal with all that. So we gave that one back. She didn't hold against me. Booked more loads with her since, and yeah, that wasn't great. And then on top of all that, the second night out on the road for me, I had a kind of a reoccurrence of an eye problem that I've been battling here for a couple of years. So dealing with that, I'm still not seeing the greatest out of my left eye, but we're working on it. Ended up getting sick. Uh, Somebody put a forklift through the ceiling of one of my reefer trailers. That's always fun. And had to replace a super single tire, which is, yeah, it's not a big thing, but whole lot of things to deal with in addition to trying to do my job hauling freight. So it was a pretty stressful week, but we made it through and we're back. And I thought I'd come say hi to you folks. Trying to get caught up on paperwork. Uh, got a good bit of it done here, but long ways to go. Sorry, I'm still working here. Okay, that's cool. Oh, I should probably take a minute to hit the thumbs up on my own video. That'd probably be a good thing to do. That'd be a good thing to do. Let's get some comments in here quick. I gotta turn the volume down here. Let's get to some comments. Folks are kind enough to join me. Oh, Sterling's in here. Trucking delivers. Bring it, Slackmaster Flex. That's my old '80s rap career name. I don't know how you dug that up. Freight trucking. Here we go. If you didn't hear me, your wheel covers have arrived. The ones they told you yesterday would be here in 3 weeks. They're here. So if you're still here when I get off the YouTubes here, I could run them up to you. If and you want to, or if you want to swing through here on your way out, it's up to you. Looks like Pop Tart Gone Trucking got a new Peter car. Ooh, congratulations. Hurricanes coming into North Carolina. Yeah, I was looking at the path of that. I'm actually sending a driver there, but it's not till like to Atlanta. It probably won't be till Sunday. So I was looking at the path of it, and it's kind of like just the edge of it is supposed to catch Atlanta, like 1 to 2 inches of rain, and we should miss the worst of that. Working on a load out of there right now, but well, 567 Heritage Peterbilt. I'm not familiar with that one. That must be an older model. I'll have to look that up. Congratulations, anyway. Killian's Trucking, congrats. Love the name, by the way. Yes. Oh, my husband gave me that 25 years ago. Your husband gave you a Peterbilt 25 years ago? Damn. Damn. Um, Killian's Truckin says, Fate, we missed you last night, bro. Yeah, well, Cash was live last night. I was just seeing that. I was in bed already. Dang, I missed that. Killian's Truckin says, I'm a 9.5 mile per gallon guy, but do love the looks of those older trucks. Yeah, then the older trucks were pretty fancy. Steve Wildman in here. Thanks for coming in. All right. Let's get to the. Well, Steve Wildman says, clear here at the coast. Cold front came in with some winds and a couple fragmented bands of rain. Yeah, they're getting pounded over there, man. Whew. I hope nobody's stuck out there. You don't want to be stuck in Florida right now. Fate Trucking got his truck all fixed up. Is back on the road. Says everything good for now. Had my trailer and also both are back on the road. Yeah, he's like a kid in a candy store looking at his new display on his reefer. He's all happy. All happy. All right, B-Man Forever. It says, me and my wife have decided March 2023 we will give up our box truck driving and get a Class A CDL. I'm with you so far. Think that's a good idea so far. And team drive in a semi. We think Prime is going to be our first choice. Any opinions? Yes. Why? I mean, they're not your only option. I don't have a hold Prime in high regard. They are ripping heads off with them freaking payments over there, man. There's better ways to go about it. There is. You ever notice how every Prime driver has a YouTube channel, but generally they're not around for very long? Call Prime and ask them for the statistics on their lease completion rate. It's hard to make it, man. God forbid you take a week off. You might have a little advantage that you're a team, but I mean you're just burning the equipment out faster, so you're just accelerating the numbers, really. I think there's better ways to do it, man. Do your research, look around. I know a lot of people go there because they'll put you in a brand new truck right off the bat. You got to ask yourself if that's really what you need or the best way to do it. Starting at the top is there's only one place to go but down, man. Start a little lower, work your way up. That warranty, it ain't free. You're paying for it in the cost of the truck, and you're completely under their thumb, 100%, 100%. I just encourage you to shop around, look around. I'm not gonna tell you where to go, but I don't know anybody that's been at Prime for a very long time. Like anybody want to throw out some places for B-Man Hemi Forever to go take his wife with their new Class A CDLs and team drive as owner operators? Oh, unless you're talking about company drivers, but I'm not a big fan of that lease purchase deal they got over there. They're knocking heads off with that pricing. D Compton in the house. Thanks for coming in, running aces. Channel member. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Big Rigger 61 with the prettiest Western Star thumbnail out there. Thanks for coming in. You look more awake than last time in Fate's stream. Yeah, man, I tell you what, man. LTL reefer deliveries will take it out of you. A lot of late nights. You're definitely going to be split logging, trying to piece it together and make it to all the stops. I wasn't all that tired, really, honestly. I just didn't feel very good. I had a rough week. A lot of coughing, but I'm over it mostly now. Shopfee says, not wearing any panties for this one. Good for you, man. Let it all out. Hunter Poole says, morning, Obi-Wan. Good morning. Mark the Mailman, channel member. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Smooth Operator, thanks for coming in. Good morning from Chicago. Tito's and soda. You know what I've been trying here? I tried it a couple weeks ago. Loved it, and I had another one last night. Have you seen the thing on YouTube where you take a can of Bush Light and a can of Mountain Dew and you mix them 50-50? It actually tastes really good. It's really refreshing. It tastes like a oh, I'm gonna catch hell for this one. It tastes like a champagne spritzer. How do I know what that tastes like? I don't. Just like I can only imagine. It's like refreshing. It's a good flavor. Give it a try. Bush Light and Mountain Dew, 50-50. Tell me I'm wrong. I got Fate Trucking to sample a little sip of it last night. He didn't want to. He's like, "You're scamming me. You and Cash are always doing this to me." Here, I'm giving little treats to my dog back here because she's giving me hell. Wants some beef jerky, but I'm all out. He's like, "You're scamming me." I ain't trying that. Probably tastes like a mouthful of damn it. And I got him to try it, and he's like, "Man, that's really good." I'm like, "I know. I wouldn't steer you wrong on that. We don't joke about food around here. No, sir, we do not." RBK in the house. Thanks for coming in. Oh, Snorlord. Snorlord's in here. Thanks, buddy. With both feet. Sterling says, waiting to get unloaded at the Costco DC in Phoenix. They've run out of parking, so you can only check in an hour early. Mm, damn it. I love me them Costco's, man. Costco's got it together for getting unloaded. I love going to Costco's. Excuse me a second. I gotta remember to mute myself every time I cough. 17.50 a day. Is that what that comes out to? That was nice. I can't rip off Cash's weekly recap because that's his intellectual property, and I would never do that. But let's see. I spent just a little over $2,100 in diesel. I tell you what, I didn't print it out. I hit a fuel stop in New York. The Petro up in Waterloo on the thruway. Is that what it is? One sec. Waterloo. The pump price was $5.43, and my price was $3.91. And I topped off the reefer and the truck. Ended up saving like $200. I'm like, yeah, that's what it's all about. Oh, I forgot to add to my worst week ever part. Two things. Number one, I think I got robbed because I can't figure out what happened. I had $300 in my pocket and then it wasn't there. And I retraced my steps and I'm like, okay, when's the last time I touched it? It was that morning. Only like 3 hours had passed. The only thing I went in my pocket for was like 40 cents for a cup of coffee. Oh, my Mac dealer's calling. We'll have to call him back later. He's got some deals on some trucks right now. But anyway, I went in the 40 cents for a cup of coffee and the money was still there. I tore the truck apart. Like, my pocket's not sloppy. It didn't just fall out. It wasn't laying down where I would have lost it. Like, I can't figure out where the hell this $300 went. So I'm wondering if some sneaky bastard lifted it from me. Can't see how because I'm like a freak about, you know, don't mess with my money. But it's gone. I have no idea what happened to it. So that's the first thing. Then the second thing, while I was gone, I won the sign in at the bar. You go sign in, and then if they draw your name, you win the pot, whatever. I've signed in every Sunday for the last year and a half, and the one freaking Sunday I miss, I won. So I lost like $600 there. But oh well, what are you gonna do, right? What were we talking about before that? I don't even remember. Oh, we were doing some comments here. Oh, fuel. Yeah. So yeah, about 2,100 in fuel. Then I had to buy a trailer tire because it was wearing funny. Had been for a while. I knew about it, but I wanted to replace that before it blew. So you don't want to let a super single blow. So it's like $850. Man, nobody had freaking super single trailer tires. No Michelin, no nothing. No Yokohama. I ended up getting a Hankook. And on my national account, it was like $653 or 673, something like that, plus labor, and I got the balance beads. It's like $850, all said and done. So that wasn't terrible, but it's got a really deep tread on it. I never run a Hankook super single before. If I like it, I think I might switch because they're pretty cheap. Anyway, so I had a couple lumpers. I get reimbursed for them. Had some tolls, honestly, probably about $400 in tolls, all said and done. So yeah, we had some expenses with, what do they call it? The veritable expenses. Is that what they're calling it? But yeah, my personal best week ever. Boy, kind of looking back, I wish I could have got a piece of that every week, last summer. But I was home making everybody else money. What are you gonna do? Uh, Cash is King Trucking in here. I emailed you a link, buddy. If you ain't busy, I said I just had my best week ever as well. I made $21,800. I mean, it was a 14-day week in all. Yeah. Well, shoot, still divide that by 2. That's still over 10,000 a week, 2 weeks in a row. That is that's pretty sweet. I emailed you the link if you want to come in. Come on in. We'll talk jaw jacking and whatnot. Sterling says, I heard F8 had a $21,000 week in repairs. Could have turned out like that, but it didn't. Cash says, after hearing your review of the week, I think you're leaving out something on the bad side. Cough, cough. Yeah, we're gonna leave that part out. We're definitely. Oh yeah, there's a that which I shall not mention that happened, but I don't want to talk about it. Definitely added to my bad week. Jerome Jones in the house, channel member, says, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming in. Welfare office. Am I block? Are you block? Are you blocked? I don't know. Obviously, you're not blocked if I can see your comment. Shannon Thomas in here. Good morning. Well, good morning to you, Shannon Thomas. Cash is King. Nice work, baller. Yeah, definitely. Cash is King. Prime sucks. Hairy, smelly, rash, crab-infested balls. They do. They do. And they're litigious. I don't even give a damn anymore. After watching, so other people with Prime YouTube channels that work there, they'll go over their pay settlements and stuff. Excuse me a second. And talk about, this deduction and that. I'm like, what in the hell is all this? What in the hell is all this stuff coming out of your check, man? What is it? It doesn't have to be that way. Like, Sergey says, Swift is best in class. I tell you what, I'd probably way sooner go to Swift than I would Prime. I'm disgusted by their program there. And I tell you what, I've seen the details on Super Ego, and I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole either. I don't give a damn what some other YouTuber says. It ain't a bad deal, this or that. I wouldn't touch that with crap with a 10-foot pole. Those companies should be ashamed of themselves. It don't have to be like that, but they can. They get away with it because they can give you a brand new shiny damn truck. And some people, that's all they want. Some people, they care about all they care about. Hey, whatever. It's free will, right? It ain't a ripoff if it's voluntary. I think it happens to be a bad deal. 1 second. I got to check my email here. Ooh, I ordered some vinyl for a truck. He says it's my lucky day. It'll be done by the end of the day. Also, I just ordered some cool colors you might like. Another roll is ultra metallic silver, ultra metallic black, ultra metallic blue, ooh, and pearl white. Start buying trucks. I have no idea who will use these. Just thought they were cool, so dropped a lot of money on them. Talk to you later. Okay. Well, I guess I have to go buy some more trucks because the vinyl guy got some cool colors. And we got 2 people coming on here. Well, one for sure. One is a strong maybe. One will be coming on here the end of the month. So I got some time working on getting his stuff going. Just ordered his vinyl, and get that taken care of. And then one guy was supposed to come meet me today. And oh crap! Here goes the neighborhood. Who's this gangsta?
What's up, everybody? I gotta lay low, man. My logbook's got to catch up for a minute. What y'all doing?
You running from that logbook?
Hey, you don't put 2 10-grand weeks back to back in this market and not do some things you regret.
That's right. That's right. That don't look like a Freightliner steering wheel, dog. That looks like suspiciously like my Toyota Avalon.
No, I got the wood grain in the Freightliner. Nah, this is the Avalon. I'm in a parking garage.
Have you
I'm
just committed a felony? Are you on?
probably
Are you on the lam?
uh I ain't gonna say I was doing 100 mile an hour on the way home, but I ain't saying I wouldn't either. I
Mm.
wouldn't lie to you guys.
Are you on the lam or behind the lam?
Well, I was eating it there for a while, but you
Or is
know,
the lam on you?
yeah, exactly. Now I just got home. I'm in the parking garage right now. So
Thought you could take out 5 minutes of your day to talk shit about Prime with me?
yeah, that's what I
I,
wanted to.
I'm drawing a blank. I can't even remember all the reasons why I hate him. I think I got too much on my mind. I can't remember why I hate Prime.
Hey, I recommend everybody go over there and pay $1,500 a week on a lease purchase. Because hey, whenever you get to the terminal, they got a basketball court you can play at. Worth it.
Can I get some premium vinyl stickers?
Oh, don't even get me started. Now, you got to pay for them. They're not for free, but yes, you can.
Hmm.
I went and looked at that black Kenworth today.
What do you think?
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot.
What's the detail? Has it got a Packard in it?
No, it's got a Cummins in it. It's got.
We're gonna delete that. What are we gonna do?
No, probably not. It's got 265,000 miles on it.
Ooh.
Uh,
How much?
Tri-Pack APU. 12 speed. I think the rear ends was like 271 or 274, something like that. I think it was.
Direct drive. Okay.
Yeah, not a bad deal. Not a bad deal.
How much down? How much a month?
See, that's the problem. I don't want to go in debt. That's the problem.
You know what you have when you don't have debt? Money.
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 Yeah, money. I mean, I don't know what the financing would be on that. It's my truck plus $60,000. So
I'd probably put your truck right around 60,000. Wouldn't you think?
no.
No. Even
I
in
mean,
this
I
market?
don't know.
Oh, it's got some love marks on it, don't it?
Yeah, it's been loved well. I don't know. This other truck, they just put a brand new set of tires on it, so that would save me some money.
Money.
I don't know. I didn't get a direct price on honestly what they would give me for my truck. I didn't go that far into it. I just took a look at that truck because they kept telling me about it. So
yeah,
I looked at it, but I was like, I don't know. I like my truck.
It's a known quantity. It's a known factor,
Yeah.
It's hard to go into a new unknown thing in this. I don't give a damn if it's brand new. Stop with that. Brand new trucks break. Yeah, warranty might cover them, but guess what? It might sit at the dealer for a month.
Right.
Well, Cummins argues it out with Kenworth, who's responsible for it. And they have to source the parts from their sources, not just anywhere else if you're going to get warranty to pay for it. So you lose control of a lot of things.
Yeah, this is
Definitely.
true. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's for me right now. It's like I think come like November, December, fuel prices are going to start going back up, and I don't see anything that says freight's going to start rebounding anytime soon. So, I mean, typically January and February are not great freight months. So,
yeah, I can't. I mean, in a bad way, I can't wait to see what freight rates are through January, February, March. They stink now. On the load boards. It ain't gonna be pretty.
yeah.
What is there to look forward to?
Yeah, and I'm thinking like, I mean, he told me he would give me that truck for like 90,000, and I figured my truck's worth about 30. That's why I figured it in like that. But uh, you know, it's 60 grand. I mean, I hate financing stuff. 3 years is too much on a truck for me. I'm a 2 year or under type of guy. So, I mean, I don't know. What is that?
Yeah,
Is that like 2,500 a month or something like that? Maybe
now's a
3 grand.
tough time for that. I mean,
That's
but the
like three.
APU, I mean, that'd be nice.
Yeah, but I mean, it ain't like I'm sitting around idling now. I got a bunk heater and it's winter time, so
True.
um, I think I told them probably not for me right now, but I'll reevaluate it. If they got, probably springtime. I'll be thinking, but
I
I
bet you.
think
I bet you come out 1 full mile a gallon to the bad versus that truck you're driving now.
I don't know. That truck's got a lifetime mileage on it of like 8.4, so it's not bad.
Is it okay?
And it come from a reefer company, so it had some damage on the sleeper. Somebody turned a trailer corner into the corner of the truck. They took her past 90,
Mm-hmm.
and they cut that out and put a whole new back wall and side in it.
Ooh, man, they got her good, huh?
Yeah, yeah. It come from a company that was self-insured though, so I mean they got a clean title on it. And I know the people that did the work, so I wouldn't question that. Um, you know, so even on resale, it wouldn't show up an accident, so that'd be good. But
Yeah. Huh. Well,
yeah,
I mean, 10 grand a week every week, you could sling that payment in no time.
yeah, I mean honestly, but it's like the way I've got my stuff set up now, man. I work, I got all the bills and everything paid about 10 days into the month here, and then the rest of the month is just, you know, stacking cash. So
Hmm.
I hate to take 3 grand out of that every month.
Well, let me present this option. What if you were to take that 60,000, and to improve your corporate credit, you put it on a credit card,
Ooh.
and then you just shift the balance around every time they try to raise the interest rate on you.
No, no, thank you. Um, uh, yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, I don't
I'll,
understand. I don't understand why you wouldn't do that.
I don't know. I'd rather put my money into. And here's the thing of it is, I got a truck that's doing the same job right now, and it ain't costing me hardly anything. So
Right? Damn brokers calling me, trying to. Don't they know I'm live?
that freight, better take that freight.
We busy. We jaw jacking and whatnot.
It's true. It's true.
Um. So you're not. Are you going to sit home to protest these freight rates? You going to stay home 3 weeks? What are we doing here?
We're reloading tomorrow morning.
But freight rates are low, dog. And don't you know you're supposed to sit it out?
No, I'm going right into the. I like to go right into the eye of the hurricane. You know what I always say? I come right in the eye of the
Oh,
hurricane.
you also say you come right into the eye of the tiger.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's my favorite thing to do. Just come right in the eye.
Hmm. Okay. How does the eye feel about that?
You'll have to ask the hurricane about that one.
Hmm. You know you got it good when you can teach a hurricane a thing or two about a thing or two.
No, I got a load going down south, and I told them if there's anything coming out of that area going into Florida that's paying like what it should be paying, let's go to Florida.
Let's do it. Uh, is that your version of the Mississippi truck wash? Driving her in the river looks suspicious. Just take her right into the hurricane.
All right. Yeah, I got a pretty good insurance premium on that truck. I might get more out of it that way than getting a trade-in value on it.
Yeah, yeah. I got a buddy that had a truck get totaled out, caught on fire and burned down. He got 10 grand more than what he paid for it. Come on,
Damn.
like that's a profitable endeavor. Let's do that
Hell
again.
yeah. He
Oh,
must know Jake from State Farm.
mm-hmm. Velox18, good morning. Broker messed up my appointment today. Not at 10 a.m., 6 p.m. tomorrow. Less than ideal. Oh, you dealing with them shady brokers? Huh. Imagine that. Ryan Brandenburg got a new spread axle. No freight left behind. Damn it. Is that your political slogan? Steve Ash says went bobtail to Illinois this week to buy a trailer. Got pulled over on 88 in Illinois because I'm bobtail with Colorado plates. Says he pulled me over because it's suspicious. Yeah. Only in Illinois. Only in Illinois.
Yeah, they don't play games up there. You look suspicious, that tie you up on some charges up there.
Yeah. Was that? I'm not even gonna go there. Never mind. Uh, WCF Invader channel member Tanky says I concur with Cash. UPS, FedEx would be very good option.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's all stop telling each other to go to Prime. And if
Yeah.
you work there, I'm sorry. Sorry sorry about your feelings. You can do better somewhere else. My
True.
opinion. My opinion.
UPS is up here in Minneapolis. They're starting teams out at 80 cents a mile.
Yeah, and that holiday, I just got the email today. The peak holiday freight they're taking right now. They're trying to line people up. So,
Yeah, you top out at $1.01 a mile. Team driver
nice,
UPS.
nice. Freight Trucking says, Velox, are you getting any layover pay if it was their fault? He says you'll get about $200 maybe. Snorlord says, start at Prime as a team company side. Do research in some time, then research good team companies. Yeah, I don't know what happens on their company side. How I imagine it works is they do everything they can to try to push you into leasing a truck.
Yeah. I
No,
just
go to
don't.
Schneider. Go to Schneider. Go to freaking. Go anywhere but there. Damn. I don't know.
Yeah, it ain't worth it. Hey, look into Leonard Express if you want to
Yeah.
start now.
Yeah.
They start you out at 58 cents a mile, and they put you through school too.
I've hauled a good bit of their freight. They're a great company to deal with, man. They've
No
been a
doubt.
great company to deal with. Dan's Outdoor Adventures, that is 9 to 5. Watching the live stream. Appreciate it, sir. I'm not going to tell on you. I ain't going to tell on you.
I'll try to keep my cussing at a minimum.
Let her rip. The big man got the Rona, Oliver says. No, not this time. Not this time. This time just a straight up something or other. As far as I know. It would surprise me if it was. A Dewey Bush. Yes, that's what we're going to call it. Bush Light and a Mountain Dew.
Mountain Bush.
Are you hanging out on Club Dirty? I am not. Ashley McGee says it tastes like diabetes. A little bit. Tastes like diabetes with a touch of kidney failure in there. It sounds like the recipe for mullet growth. Cash, yes, Bush Light and Mountain Dew will give you a gorgeous flowing locks of mullet.
Did it make you want to get a cab over and hang out with your sister?
Dirt. I had that taste in my mouth for a while. I'm like, this tastes like incest.
Oh,
Paul Smith says, made it. Well, glad you did. Killian's champagne spritzer. Is this the real DIY? It is. Better recognize.
oh.
Those are the fancy things you can drink after a week of $14,000.
Do you drink champagne spritzers to get your the taste of your boyfriend's genitalia out of your mouth?
Why would I want to kill that taste? I mean, I worked so hard to get it. Put all that effort in. I tried a champagne spritzer at a wedding reception. That's how I know.
Oh, okay.
Gary Bates in the house made it. Gary, I just saw your emails this morning. I'm going to get back to you. When I'm out on the road, I don't pay too much attention to my YouTube emails, so I will get it. I will look at them and I will respond accordingly. Sorry about that, buddy. Joshua Salinas says, "How you doing, sir? I'm about to switch to I-26 an hour hauling. Oh, 26 an hour hauling tanker. What do you think right now? I'm making 60 cents a mile. There's money in them there tankers, man. Definitely
I think
money in them tankers.
at 60 cents a mile, you'll probably make comparable money hauling tanker by the hour.
I'm guessing probably be home every day too.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. Gary Bates got a YouTube channel now. Everybody check it out. I checked out your video there, Gary, and I subscribed. I was subscriber number 11.
There you go.
So remember that. Shannon Thomas trucking tanker is good money. Congratulations. You will want to subscribe to Nomadic Brit and subscribe to Dirty Broke 215. A lot of tanker information over there.
In both of my channels, and check out my website, cashiskingtrucking.com.
Yeah, and mine too. Join as a member, get a private consultation, buy some merch, and all that happy stuff.
Fuel ox, MUDFLAP.
Yeah. Why do I forget my own stuff? My mind is just somewhere else today. Just too much. I'm too scattered. MN Trucking says, "Hello, DIY. Thanks for coming in, brother." Fate was bragging on a live show. His new gold Mac hood ornament cost $300. I didn't even see that he had one. Did he really get one? I'll kick him right in the throat if he spent money on that. Snorler says hand cooks aren't bad. I've had them with supers and trailer tires. Okay. Yeah, it got a lot of tread on that. Truck Yes says best year of Cascadia with DD15. Go. All right.
2016, 17, and 18 would be your best years, Cascadias, with DD15.
Not even newer than that.
I would like to say so, but out of the 2021s, I get a lot of people saying they're having some like weird electrical problems in them. So I don't know.
I've heard the new Western Stars are having all kinds of electrical problems. The way they route the wiring, it rubs everywhere.
I got a little coolant leak on my truck they're working on at the shop right now. I got it looks like two hoses. So
Okay. Oh, did we lose Cash?
I told him to back to work.
All right. Did I lose you?
I'm there. You got me?
Oh,
I hear you.
Yeah, you went robot there for a second. Andrew McGlynn's having a medium rare ribeye on the back of a rusty Columbia. Nothing like it. Yeah, get that iron in your diet. Oh, I didn't even see this. Couple super chats come in. Fake Trucking, appreciate it. Tip your host, appreciate it. And $20 says check out cashiskingtrucking.com. Both, all great advice. All great advice. Best advice I've heard today. Let's see here.
Can we just start calling? Can we just start calling him by the name we think he should have at this point?
I don't see why not. We'll just make up a new name every time we refer to him. See which one sticks.
I think mac and cheese is it. I mean, let's face it. That's a mac and cheese all day.
But what if he gets rid of the Mac?
Yeah.
All right.
You think he's getting rid of the Mac?
I doubt it.
I don't see it happening.
Not if he's smart. Double T Express. Did you get the China flu? Been there, done that. I don't think I got it this time. Just a cold. Just a bad cold.
You sure you ain't got the code red variant?
The what?
The Mountain Dew code red variant.
I don't know. Gary Bates is trying to find out if his
I-
company is strong enough to get an $80,000 truck financing. Does that mean you're going to buy one if you do? Interesting. Fabulous Egg Hole Holdings offensive coordinator TV. We have the best leases. Come to the egg hole. Oh
um,
man. Oh man. A lot of fees, a lot of weekly fees associated with that contract. Was able to take a
yeah,
peek at it.
they're about as bad as Prime, aren't they?
My dog is just giving me the. Where'd everybody go? Trucking with Valoc says you look like the Unabomber. What do you know about the Unabomber? There goes
Yeah,
monetization. I have a feeling.
yeah, they keep messing with me. They keep messing with me. Nah, I'm not smart enough to be the Unabomber.
Snorlord says Super Ego. Name is perfect for anyone who would sign a lease. Yeah, we don't even give them the respect of calling them by the proper name.
Nah,
They are and always will be Super Ego around here.
Super Ego frozen waffles.
Mm-hmm. Super ones.
So that guy's the coordinator. Hell, we got an assistant coach and a coordinator.
Need a defensive coordinator and special teams coach.
I'll be the cheerleading coach.
All right. Mac Poe says booked the CHR load for 1,700. Super Ego driver did the same load. Showed me his rate con for 1,300. It
Yeah,
was on the
boy.
board for 1,450. Super Ego is a ripoff. I'm glad you said it because I don't want to be responsible for saying it, but I'll probably be in trouble for repeating it. But I know somebody that works there that is leased on there. And he believes he knows for a fact that his rate cons get altered, but he continues to work there because they lease him a brand new truck. I'm like, okay, well then don't come bitching to me a year from now when you've had enough of it or they this and that. Now you
Right.
mean to tell me you know they're ripping you off for hundreds of dollars on every load and you're okay with that? I wouldn't be okay with that. Ain't no way in hell.
Yeah, what's a couple thousand among friends, right?
It's a good way to
It's
get a ballpoint ink pen in the gut.
in your soft innards.
I rewatched your live stream last night. I heard you telling people about our backstage conversations
Oh yeah,
about the ink pen in the gut.
hell yeah.
Sterling says, looks like a Volvo steering wheel. You got track pants on. Do you have your feet up on the dash?
100%.
Nice. Nice legs, by the way.
Thank you. I work on them.
Papa's in the house says, how's everyone doing? We doing all right. We doing all right. We're just coming off a good week and a bad week all at the same time. Gary Bates says, if I get that first driver into school in Octoberish, I will send you another email if you think things are win-win in your opinion. Okay. We can talk. I didn't read your emails yet, so I don't know where we're going. But you said that Kenworth has an APU, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Low hours on a tri-pack.
Okay. Sterling says, you know what you got when you don't have a bunch of debt? The ability to walk into any company drive, come on, any company job.
True.
Yeah, you could
True.
park the truck, come back to it later. Right?
What do you mean, like burn it and then call the insurance company and say somebody stole it?
Yeah, by park it, I mean napalm it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Take the VIN plates off, grind them off the frame rails. Yeah, it's parking it is just a shorter way to say that.
Okay.
I just heard a cash register sign go thing. The hell happened around here? I don't know. D Hardy says Tyson gave me this BS. Our appointment times given means that it's when you leave loaded. Yeah. If that was only true, they got you out of there at your appointment time.
Oh man. Be a different world.
Says you have to come 3 hours early in order not to be called late.
Yeah,
Throw your watch at him. Tell him suck on this.
tell them, say, I'm going to leave and come back earlier.
That's right. That's right. Oh. Sean Fairman in the house has left Menominee yesterday, heading to PA. All right. All right. I'm getting a new lane for some freight. I was asked yesterday to take some loads from central Wisconsin to McClaney, Florida, and Cocoa, Florida. If anybody ever
Ooh,
runs that lane with a reefer, hit me up. Adam at apex-cargo.com. We get
sorry,
you.
I lost you at Coco.
It's a different Cocoa, dog.
Ah,
This one's got a beach nearby.
okay. What kind of, what are we talking on those loads? Like commodity weight,
Palletized taters. Going to Walmart distribution centers. They're usually pretty quick on loads, straight pulls.
jet?
42-ish thousand pounds, depending, And then,
Yeah, long as they palletize. I'm not crazy about bulk. I mean, I'll do it, but
yeah, no, I don't mess with bulk. It's a pain in the ass.
yeah, it's not my trailer, so I don't mess with it much. If they say they want to do it, I'll do it, but most of the time, it ain't my call on bulk.
Yeah, and how I've been doing it with the brokerage loads, I put my max rate out right up front, and that's what it is. Take it or leave it. And I'm usually higher than anybody else on the broker board. I always check it. Those loads will go for 5,100.
Nice.
So
Nice.
let me just do some comparisons quick for loads like it on the DAT board here. Do.
Hey, while you look that up, I'm gonna hop off here, man. I've been up all night. I'm gonna go take a nap before the kids get back from the mall.
All right then. Thanks for
Later,
coming in, buddy.
everybody. See you.
Yeah. Let's check that lane out here to see if I'm close. Ooh, damn! I might need to reconsider. Same exact lane, $4,000, 4,500, 4,500, 3,100. Damn it, 4,200, 42, 42, 47. That's a multi-drop though. It's got 4 drops on it. 2,800. You got to be out of your mind. 4,000, 3,800. So yeah, I'm 1,100 to 600 higher than anybody else. That's just how I do it. Just put it out there, right? And I've been working with a guy doing it the same way for him, and he's hauling some of the shorter stuff here right now, and seems to like it a lot. But I just put it out there, and hey, if you're happy with that, then they're pretty easy loads. They load you quick, and usually Walmart is 2 hours, sometimes 3 on the outside. I usually show up an hour early at the Walmart places, so usually 2 hours past the appointment. So um, yeah, it works out pretty good. But I understand. McClaney is by Jacksonville, and Cocoa is not far from Orlando, so that would be the metro areas, and it's reefer 50 degrees generally. Some of the loads could be 45, between 45 and 52, depending on the time of year. Steve Fanslow in the house. Thanks for coming in. Shannon is going to get her a truck. Shannon's already got a truck. What are we talking about here? Once again, Fate Trucking with $20 super chat. I sure enough appreciate it. Brian Hemi for B-Man Hemi forever. I have a Class A CDL, but no driving experience. My wife needs to get her, so basically we need a starter place. There's starter places all over. You know what? Look for a company that's not a mega. Like, between like 300 and 800 trucks. They're big enough to take new people, but not so giant that you could just get forgotten about and abused. Look for something like that. Sean Fairman, I've been a pumpkin for years. Okay. And you know what, B-Man? If you can, get your own truck. control your own asset. The thing is, you go to Prime, you get in that lease. 18 months into the 36-month lease, you do something that they don't like, or they tick you off, and you don't have the money to buy the truck out. They let you go after 18 months of paying on that truck. You paid in all that equity for nothing. Try to have your own truck where you can take it where you want to go. The the it's all yours. Whatever you want to do to it, you want to put your kind of tires on it, do whatever. You just even if you do that and go to Prime, try to control your own asset, man. You're so much better off. You are. Um, what's your opinion of pulling FedEx trailers for the holidays? Uh, I know people that do really well at that, and UPS also. So all the UPS peak season stuff goes through Coyote now. You can get I don't know if you ever held for Coyote. Contact your Coyote rep. Say, hey, put me in touch with the UPS peak season. They're taking. I got the email, was it yesterday or today? They're looking for people right now. So if you're interested in that, Georgia Patriots says sitting at home waiting for an air shutoff valve coming in tomorrow, allegedly. Oh man, that sucks. That sucks. Uh, Gary Bates, celery and kale helps with vitamin D uptake for the kidney health. Yeah, kale also leads to excessive degrees of unhappiness. I tried the kale thing. Made me very unhappy. Ugh, I just couldn't choke it down. With both feet, big rigger, pull whatever makes you profitable and puts you where you want to be. That's right. There you go. FedEx always gets the money, brother. You would think they would need people now with letting some of the contractors go, but I don't know. Maybe business is down too. I don't know. Uh, Now auto or STD. Don Schonger says just call him Cheese for short. We can do that. Ever read the Unabomber's manifesto? The man was right about a lot. Yeah, you know, those people sometimes they end up being proven right about a lot of things. I think I've said it before. Hey, the world owes Alex Jones an apology. He's been calling a lot of things right here. He's a little out there on some things, but man, he's been proven right over and over again, hasn't he? Uh, Sean Fairman, don't think he's pulled an ego load yet. It won't be long. They'll be on to the next best thing in the world company. Um, I don't know why people put any credence in that. Just wherever we're at for the moment is the best place to be, and then next week it's something else, isn't it? Uh, Grafton in here says word. Can't disagree with that. Rich Tacos DIY question: how low voltage batteries had low voltage batteries kept dying? I got new batteries, still low voltage. Got new alternator, still have low volts. Is it a bad wire or ground? Do you even have low voltage when the truck is running and the alternator is charging? Um, you could have something drawing. Uh, it's drawing a load off the batteries. Well, that would be, hmm, yeah, 2014 Cascadia. It could be several things. I mean, low voltage batteries kept dying. You might have something drawn that's not supposed to. Maybe you got something you leaving your cooler plugged in on the weekends or anything like that. Any new accessories in the truck? But yeah, it's probably wiring. It's probably wiring. I had definitely have them check the jumper wires between your batteries. I traced down a problem. I was having problem similar to that one time, and it took me a while to trace it down to the. If you look at your batteries, you got the jumper wires between the batteries. One of them was bad, so I took it apart and put a lead on each end and tried to just wiggle it around, and sure enough, it read that the continuity was bad for the wire. So if you can't find it anywhere else, check there, but have somebody trace your wiring down, man. If it's low while the alternator is running, then the alternator's Well, I guess we don't quite have enough information here. I got new batteries, still low voltage. Got new alternators, still have low volts. Yeah, you got a wiring issue somewhere. I don't know if you're testing it while the truck is running and testing the voltage, or if you run it and then shut it off and the voltage is dropping again. That's what I'm wondering. How's the Freightliner coming along? It's sitting right where I parked it when I brought it home. I haven't had any time to do anything with it for right now. Been too busy, but the plan I have, we'll get this new guy going here at the end of October, and then if the other guy comes on, we'll put him in the gray truck. Hopefully, that's kind of the plan. We'll see if it works out. Get those two on the road, and then right now I'm getting my orange truck back to being, I don't want to say roadworthy, but it needs a couple things. I got it in for getting a DOT inspection right now. Then when I get it back, I got to replace some door door latches and some switches, and fix some wiring for one of the lights, and it might need injectors. I got to test a couple things here before I decide on that. So we'll get that one squared away. So then that's my truck to put back on the road again when I got to go do something. And then when that's done, then we'll start working on the classic. I don't even know where to start, honestly. I guess we'll start on all the getting the roadworthy, the DOT stuff. It needs a lot of work in the dash. So I need to take the whole dash apart. Some of the pieces are broken, but I don't much care about that. Um, there's a lot of work in there. Like the low air buzzer doesn't work. There's a bunch of air leaks. Some of the gauges. Um, it's got a it's got a lot of stuff like that. So we'll start there, get her legal and safe, and then maybe start on other things. I don't know how long that'll take, but that's the tentative plan for right now. So a couple more months, hopefully, and we can start on that. But then I get two more guys on the road, and I'll be busy in the office a lot again. So I don't know. I guess we get to it when we get to it. I hate that. I was hoping to do some things right away, but it ain't working out. Winter, I got the shop now. I can heat it, and I guess that'll be the plan. Hunter says someone sold something on eBay. I'm listening now while truck is in the shop. Okay. All right. With both feet, says Rich Taco, could be corrosion in the wires causing resistance. Yep. Yep. But it might be hard to find. I One of the things I'm intending to do on my orange truck is go through and replace all the main power wires, uh, front to back. So I'll start at the alternator, across top of the engine, down. We'll get in, the starter wires, all the grounds in there, and then back to the batteries. That's one project I want to do. Older trucks, man, you really got to keep up on that wiring stuff. So because it'll get you, especially the grounds. Um, Alex Express in the house. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Uh, Shan Brown says salute to the chat. I'm in Philly now. All right. McClaney, Florida is Jacksonville. Not bad. Yeah, Jacksonville's not bad. I mean, you can get out of Jacksonville. Even if you only take a short hopper, take a shorty up to like Georgia, Carolinas, something like that. So I tell you what, if you guys watch the load, I haven't been on the load boards as much these last 2 weeks because I haven't had to. Been having a lot of customer freight, but you guys know things are going south, like and tough. Like I don't know. I've been offering different folks, not just anybody in particular, but a lot of different folks, some good paying loads, and there not taking them. Like, I'm gonna do this and that, and I'm like, start. If somebody's offering you loads for a good rate, over $4 a mile, around $4 a mile, sometimes are better. Like, start taking it, especially if they can give it to you consistently. Leave that other stuff behind because you're gonna need it. Don't be late to the game. Don't wait until it's too late and then say, "Oh yeah, I'll start hauling your freight now." Well, guess what? I found all these other people to do it. Because as you can see, rates, you already know spot market rates suck. I mean, I had a truck in Dallas today. Couldn't find better than $2 a mile. I found 288 a mile, and we snatched that up in a heartbeat. And then that's going over to Atlanta. Rates are tough out of there, but I'll find something to do better out of there. But yeah, and then if things get as bad as I think they're gonna, let the backhauls be what they're gonna be. They're gonna suck. You're finding out now the things that Cash and I said for the last 2 years are true. You don't get it both ways. Never before in trucking do you get it both ways. You get your good money on the way out or whatever, and then you take your freight just to get back to that good money again. That's how it's always been. Getting it both ways is such a new phenomenon in the last couple of years that it was taken for granted. So, kind of finding out right now what the load board is all about, and that what things revert back to the norm. So find your thing, find your thing that you do, and fill in the gap with your backhauls. Get back as fast as you can. Whatever that looks like for you, it's going to look different for everybody. Alex says, I would say hello to Cash as king, but he never replies back. Yes, he does, Alex. He's good people. He's good people. Trying to bring Fate Trucking in here, but he doesn't have his camera on. Can't for the life of me figure out why he won't show his face or talk to me. Come on in, buddy. Come on. With both feet says also see how voltage is regulated. I don't know if the regulator is built into the alternator or not. Yeah, on the newer style alternators, the regulator is inside. DUI Semi says, don't tell your dog I made 9 pounds of jerky. Hey, Lena. Oh, she heard me say jerky. You see her pop up like that? Look at her. She's like, where? I didn't see none. Give me some. Now I get to give her a little scrap. With Killian says, how many days are those going to be on the truck? Like pick on Monday, deliver on what day? There. So it's going to start in 2 to 3 weeks. I just talked to him about it yesterday. Don't know. There'll probably be several. So it'd probably be like 3-day loads, I'm guessing. So if you pick on Monday, probably deliver Wednesday. Probably not first thing, but they usually schedule those kind of tight. Those potato places are bad like that, actually. So I can keep you posted on that. They're Killian's, but I got like a 2 to 3 week lead time on it right now. They're finalizing. Alex Express, Shannon, Philly's my hometown. All right. Gary Bates says Shannon is working the lease purchase and going to get that thing through these low rate environment. Yeah, I hope so. Alex says a Go Coyote app. Yeah, I don't know if the UPS freight is on there though. Big Rigger 61 says I have worked with Coyote. Okay, yeah, call them up. They're owned by UPS. They got the UPS peak freight. Paul Harris says Abilene is looking for teams that will also lease trucks. Not sure if the lease is lease purchase. New Volvo's 150K loaded. That's not bad. That's a good price. Lease purchase, look at the overall, instead of the payments, look at the overall complete cost of the vehicle. Payments are what they are. Some payments can be higher, some payments can be lower. I'm only concerned with the total cost of the vehicle, to tell you the truth, because I could pay it off faster, slower, whatever. But the cost of that vehicle's, what good is it if you're paying $200 less a week, but because of the terms of the lease purchase, that truck is $60,000 more than if you would have paid $200 more a week at a different carrier? Just saying. That's the kind of things that get overlooked and people need to know. Big Rigger says, I just need something to do through winter, pulling liquid asphalt here at home in Michigan. Okay. All right. Fate Trucking, we'll try again. Bring you in here. Charles says, everybody says there's not a truck driver shortage, but why is everybody hiring? It's always been that way. Charles, I'm not sure how long you've been in trucking, and I'm not saying it, but trucking has always been like that for the last 20 some years that I've been in it because the job sucks. New people don't want to do it once they find out what it's all about, largely. You got to bring in 50 people to get one to stay. Uh, they get lied to, come to find out it wasn't true. They come to find out they can't handle being away from home or their family can't bear it. Um, all kinds of reasons. Like young people don't want to do this kind of crap. They want to, they like their creature comforts and being at home and social media and stuff. And it's hard to find anybody to work at anything anymore. I was at the freaking post office this morning. They got a sign on the door. I asked the lady, I said, "What's that all about?" She's like, "Yeah, we need people bad." I said, "Well, you used to be a waiting list to get into the post office." She's like, "No, we can't even find people now." I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man. Like some of the best benefits you can get. So yeah, can't find workers. A lot of the older drivers have had enough of the new regulations. They don't want to do it anymore. Uh, this job used to be fun. All this crap, regulation crap, took the fun out of it. And it's not like you're the cowboy thing anymore. You're freaking micromanaged to the nth degree. So it's look at what the turnover rate is at trucking companies. It's astronomical, and people leave over the dumbest things. I'm going to make a penny a mile somewhere else. Well, you might get your miles cut in half. I mean, the trucking, the grass is always greener thing is prevalent in trucking really bad. They've always screamed that truck driver. Okay, if there was a truck driver shortage, why are there trucks sitting in the truck stop waiting for 3 days for a load? If there was really a trucker shortage, nobody would ever be sitting without a load. You know what there is? There's a misutilization, an incompetency in utilizing truckers. When you have a mega carrier bragging that their average miles per week is 1,800 miles, yeah, that's disgusting mismanagement is what that is. So yeah, there's no. I mean, you look back in the last 2 years, the last 18 months, whatever, through the boom, we might have had a little bit of a truck driver shortage. I mean, look how fast it got rectified. Now there's just a glut. There's too many. Honestly, there's too many trucks. So yeah, they've always had to hire and they always will because trucking is a bag of crap sometimes, but it can also be really good. So, but it's not for everybody. This job, man, people think they get into it, they make all this money, but really quickly find out that it is not for them because of a whole host of reasons. So, oh boy, I can't. Sorry, sir, I can't pronounce your name, but saw the scam video on your channel. The same stuff happened to us yesterday, and still C.H. Robinson was involved. And the reaction makes me feel that they are good with it. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, there was what he's talking about. Did a video. There was some brokerages stealing the identity of other brokers. It wasn't just, brokers not paying or brokers up to their normal shenanigans. They were stealing identities of other brokerage. And looks like this gentleman had that happen to him, and I'm really sorry to hear that. It's hard to detect too. It is. Charles Spray, when you try to park your truck after 5 o'clock, it seems like there's plenty of trucks on the road. Well, it's hard to find a damn parking spot after 5 o'clock, probably. That's why. George Patriot says if low voltage on the dash voltmeter, double check with the handheld multimeter. Yeah, I'm guessing that's what he's doing. That's what I'm saying. At the alternator or with the truck running or whatever. But with both feet says Charles, there are over 200,000 new motor carrier authorities over the last 2 years. Drivers left companies and started their own businesses. Companies are short drivers with plenty of trucks. And they always will be. They'll always cry driver shortage. Sage live in here. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Like number 35. Sage, I sent somebody to you today to ask about your broker training course. So hopefully they contact you. They were asking me some questions. I'm like, you know what? There's somebody better to ask about this. So I told them to contact you. I can't remember if they were in the chat here today or not. Um, Oliver 880 says it's going south. Alexander says, Sage, what's the best way to contact you? Go to his channel. It's on his contact information is on his page there. Just hit about. Somebody's buzzing now. What are we buzzing here? With both feet says Sage is close to 20,000 subscribers. Check him out. There you go. Link to the channel. Jerome Jones says, if I had a reefer, I'll try that lane. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's definitely a reefer freight. Paul Harris says you're a top going there. Have to accept you'll be a bottom leaving. Okay, must be talking about Florida. Killian Strachan's super interested in those loads. Okay, well, keep in touch. Like I said, it's going to be 2 to 3 weeks before they start coming. How many miles does a new alternator last on a Freightliner? It depends. I've had them last like a month, and I've had them last like 10 years. It's a crapshoot sometimes, because it depends. Somebody have a bad day while they were rebuilding it, you know. With both feet says, no way to tell. If I could answer that, I'd be rich in Vegas. Should get 200 to 500,000 miles. Yeah, I'd say the same. Something to know: if you're replacing an alternator and you run your batteries low, really low or dead, charge those batteries up before you start the before you start the truck with your new alternator, because that surge there could foul up the regulator, trying to put out too many volts or too much juice to react to those dead batteries. So charge your batteries up before you do that. Sage says, dude, I'm the last on the post office delivery, and sometimes they go home before delivering my mail. No, he's like that. You ever see that movie Funny Farm with, was it Chevy Chase, where he's the last guy on the route and the mailman's always drunk and pissed off by the time he gets to him, so he just drives by at 100 and throws his mail out the window. I always thought that was funny. JP says, thanks. All right. Georgia Patriot says, Chick-fil-A close to my house is now closed for breakfast every day because they can't find people to work. What's the point of that place without breakfast? Tasty burger, tasty chicken sandwiches for lunch. That's the point, my man. Whew. I've only been to Chick-fil-A like twice in my life. That was pretty damn good. Pretty dang good. DUI Semi says, turnover is cheaper than loyal drivers, especially with the government subsidizing CDL training and mega carriers self-insured, never running out of truck parts. Well, might have a hard time with them truck parts right now. There is a shortage of slaves. Yeah, they like people who do what they're told and not independent thinkers. That's for sure. Charles says they were stealing ideas. I've been driving a truck for over 30 years. Back when I first started, truck drivers took care of other truck drivers. I'd like to see more of that in today's industry. We try to do a little bit of that. The companies don't want it. They want people who go along with everything they say, do exactly what they told, stuff like that. They want robots. You know, that's how they want you to be. Oh, Snorlord's got. Here we go. I have a scam alert if you want to bring me in. Sorry, I didn't see that. Oh, that's your text, isn't it? Yeah. I'm gonna email you a link right now, Snorlord. I don't want to post it quite right now, but here, let me email your link here. Snorlord's gonna give us a scam alert. There we go. East. Ah, that ain't right. Help if I send you the link instead of a reference number from a load, huh? Here we go. All right, link is on the way. Check your email. Sage says, okay, I spoke with 2 people. Yeah, I've sent probably 3 or 4 of them over your way in the last year or so. I always tell them, I said, I don't know if you're still doing that, but tell them I told him to teach you. I don't even know if you're still doing that course. Sean Fairman says, "Does fate really dispatch you when you're on the road?" Oh, does he say that? Does he say that now? Huh? Fancy that. He does. Oh, jeez, he does not. What up, Snorlord?
What up? How's it going?
Mm.
So, I'm glad to see you, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Glad to see you.
And check it out. My wife is almost to the end of 1 second after, and I've been as quiet as I could.
Has she been crying a lot?
We're getting almost to that point.
It's hard to keep quiet. It's hard to keep quiet, isn't it?
All right. So here's my scam alert. Right.
Okay.
I'm looking to get a dry van out of Seattle, and I needed to get him to Wisconsin.
Okay.
Because he's switching platforms, which that's going to be lots of video content for me. But so it's the broker is Global Trans, okay, which I've dealt with them. I've never had an issue with them.
Okay.
And in the description, it says 2 deliveries in Eagan, Minnesota. Email westcoastloads@gmail.com or text us, and it has a phone number. That's not the number that's on the DAT. So would you call that load?
I'd be a little suspicious of it.
Because what I know is that there are brokers. I swear these animals detect when I'm online and they want out.
They don't sit behind you begging for beef jerky the whole time?
No, but yeah, I'll tell you what, I have deer jerky from my last harvest last year. And I was eating some last night, and the animals, the cat and the dog, were both like aggressively in my face. I mean, they go crazy over that. Like even more than if I'm eating beef jerky. They know I'm eating deer. They're like, hey man. So, but anyways, so you hear stories of booking a load, and then someone else, you think you're booking a load, they got the rate con, but then they get the cash advance from the original load. And then you go to pick up the load, it doesn't even exist, and that person took off with the cash advance. I've heard of that one, but also they're acting as it's basically a blind double brokering.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of wondering if that's what the 2 deliveries is. But anything with the Gmail account, don't ever book that.
They should be emailing you from the company's whatever, what do they call that, domain or whatever?
Right. And so I thought that was interesting because I only see that on the big paying loads that go across country.
Yeah, they could post $10,000. It don't matter if they don't have no intention of paying you.
Right. And well, Global Trans is well known. So why would their person use a Gmail account? Because every one of these brokerages is set up where the broker agent or broker himself can email from their phone. They could email mobilely, and it'll say right on the email, it'll say this did not, this is not, like it tells you if it's not originating from the office. I mean, I deal with a CH guy, and he'll email me from his phone, and I can tell when it's from his phone or from the actual office. It's still his email though. It still says @CHRobson or whatever it says, not at Gmail, right? So I just want to point that out, that I'm seeing a lot more of that, especially when times are tough right now.
Yep.
So you got to be careful.
Yeah, Global Trans has a lot of subsidy brokerages underneath them, like sub companies, but they should still be using their domain.
Yeah. So yeah, when I let me look here. If I do a search for Global Trans on my,
I think what's one of them? Apex. is under Global Trans, not my Apex. There's a different one. I should have
Right.
thought about that when I named my brokerage. I've had people call me and I'm like, I'm not them, dude. Call somebody else.
Yeah, I'm not even seeing it come up on my search. I know I've done some global transloads, but
Yeah, I've done a couple.
anyways, when you're a new authority, you have you got limited options, but this was early. I've set this driver up with this broker in the past, and we've done a few loads, and I've recently done some global transloads, but yeah, they've never ever came from a Gmail account.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to point that out. Also, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you lease out equipment? Like, do you purchase out trucks?
If they work here.
Okay. But
I've thought about the trailer. Some people have asked. I've thought about the trailer thing. Hey, can I lease one from you?
Mhm.
And I'm just like, I can't. It's too risky.
Okay.
Like you take the trailer where I don't know where it is, and I don't know if you're keeping up on it. I don't know what you're doing with it, and then you turn me in the back end of a busted piece of shit. And what do I do with it?
Right. Do you do that with trucks at all?
I've done some lease purchases for they work here, and I just tell them like if you want to leave, refinance it and pay me off.
Oh, okay.
Just for what you owe. I don't like. I'm not trying to make a bunch of money on lease purchasing. Just if it helps you get a driver, and you can do it. It's probably not. It's not a great use of my capital. I'll tell you that. I don't haven't fared well on it, but uh, drivers are hard to get. And then there's some people that just need a chance or need a little help or whatever. And plus, biggest reason I've done it is because I talked 9 miles of shit about some of these lease purchases out there, and I'm like, well, if I'm going to talk that crap, I have to actually present a better option. So I had done that, and it's one thing I wouldn't do anymore is I loan somebody a personal loan to help them get their truck over here. We had papers on it, and everything, but I wouldn't do that again. That's not a great idea. It's too easy to get hurt.
From my experience dealing with some of the things that I've seen over here and over the years, because I know a few people outside of our carrier that put people in trucks as a lease purchase or even as a company driver. And I'm getting ready to do a video on this soon about, it's amazing to me, and you see it on Facebook all the time as well, the amount of people that will they will hand them the keys to a $150,000 vehicle, never road test them, never check their credit.
Yeah.
And like, as long as the insurance company is good, with your 2 years experience, they'll hand them the keys to a $150,000 truck and then wonder why they have all these, issues. A lot of people keep asking me, am I going to put someone in my truck? No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Because number one, the spot market, especially in drive-in, there's not enough meat on the bone to pay somebody a straight company salary. It just isn't.
Not when you're competing with the Russians paying 80 cents a mile.
Right.
Like, they're going to have to cut wages. They can't freaking survive this. I mean, there's going to be some company driver pay cuts coming, people. It has to happen, or they won't be around.
Well, we have a driver that was over here that was working for one of those companies, and they kept, we need to renegotiate your percentage. He was company 1099, but he was making a percentage.
Right.
And I told him at Matt's, I said, hey, man, you probably need to get away from that because the rates are dropping, and pretty soon you're going to start seeing your rates drop. And sure enough, they did. He's having to go above and beyond. And then the rumors that we've heard about the company that you were talking about earlier with the name Super in it, is that they're changing rate cons and that they're making you drive illegal.
I know somebody that's leased on there, and he's told me exactly that.
And because they're you know, they don't have any meat on the bone to pay for their new trucks that they've bought. So I turned down a client that wanted me to dispatch him. Outside carrier. I've dealt with this guy, longtime friend, and I said he's paying his driver 71 cents a mile, and he's running nothing but the spot market.
Ain't gonna work.
Now, it gets better. He's driving a 23 Kenworth T680 or 22 or 23. He was able to get on a build list, and then he a fairly new trailer.
Drive
And
in.
so, I told him, I said, look, man, I can take advantage of the situation and book your guy on the highest grossing, highest mileage load, and just keep him busy. And his only limitation is his clock. But that percentage you're going to pay me is the only margin you're going to have. You know, after 71 cents a mile paying the driver, and then paying between 60 and 70 cents a mile, because you know you're going to do some West Coast stuff per gallon, you know, for fuel. Where's the truck payment? Where's the trailer payment? Where's my payment? You know, well, we're going to be in the hole for no. If you're going to be in the hole for a month, all I'm doing is taking advantage of the situation. I laugh at these dispatch services that go, we promise to make you 7% more than what you're making, or 8% or 10%, or they'll put like an actual number. We promise to make you $10,000 a week.
Yeah, they're in Pakistan. You can't hold them to any guarantees.
Right.
Let them put it in writing. It don't matter. What are you gonna do? Fly to Azerbaijan to prosecute them?
Right. Well,
I mean, come on.
I can sit there and say, well, I can make you 5% more. Well, what do you charge? 5%. Well, who's getting that? Who's getting? All I'm doing is getting a piece of your pie.
You need to raise your rate.
I'm gonna get you 5% more, because every Monday the rates have considerably dropped, except for this week. This week they started, but it's the end of the quarter.
End of the month, end of the quarter.
Rates the last 3 days.
End of the month, end of the quarter, end of the week.
Yeah.
Perfect storm.
And so, and then the hurricane's helping too. So, but you know, a lot of people don't realize that hurricanes help the spot market. They just, I don't care what platform, if it's flatbed, reefer, drive in, you just got to be careful who you do it with and how you do it. You know, you don't want a broker that's not going to pay you detention or layover. And just know that you might want to get at least close to round trip money, because you're not getting anything coming out, and you might be laid up for 2 weeks under the same load because you can't make your delivery. So, but anyways, I just wanted to put that scam alert on there. But yeah, there's, you know, I wouldn't sleep at night if I knowingly took 5% of this dude's revenue just to get revenue, right? Just to keep his truck moving. And of course, you know, a month has passed, and that driver, you know, that owner has said that, yeah, Steve was exactly right. 5% has been my margin. And
I've kind of turned the corner on that, though, and I think you need to as well, because you've been telling people, you know, you and I and Cash and everybody been telling people this for a while, like this, what the spot market is, what it's all about. You know, if you've been since June, when things were already bad, went and bought a 2023 Volvo or whatever, and in a newer trailer, you got $250,000 in equipment, and you're bound and determined to stay in the spot market. You've told them everything that was going to happen, and it came true. Take their money. Take their money. You tried, you know, like, you did your part. If they want to give you money, take it. You know.
Yeah, I know. I'm geared different. I would rather, you know, if I have to, you know, look, I dispatch a few like trucking guys, and I won't do that to them, right?
Yeah.
And the way I look at it is, there was an outside carrier that I was dispatching, and after about 2 weeks, it was going to be difficult, and he ended up losing one of his trucks. He's another guy that's paying company guys good money to run nothing but the spot market, and they're coming out of a dead area at their home base. And I'm just looking at these numbers. I'm just like, this relationship ain't gonna last long. And sure enough, it drops off. So I went from 7 trucks to 2 trucks or 3 trucks. I'm officially at 3 right now because everybody's trucks are down. I mean,
I'm having that same problem.
every
Yeah.
day I'm looking at my Samsara text alerts, check engine light, check engine light, check engine light, check engine light, because people are taking their salary money and they're putting it in the maintenance, or they're taking their maintenance money and making it their salary, so there's no maintenance money going back to the truck. And so when that big breakdown occurs,
it's a lot of sinking ships.
Yeah.
And I can't say it's going to get any better. Like, I think there's still a lot of downside. We still have a lot of trucks, there's not a lot of freight. People aren't producing, they're not shipping. I mean, we're in a definite decline here. But that being said, there's still, there must be opportunities somewhere, because I've had a lot of them thrown at me this week. And it stretched me kind of thin. I've turned down, a few, but I know I keep saying it, try to build relationships or get direct freight, and I keep getting back, well, easier said than done. It is easier said than done, but it's like any other business. In a lot of ways, we're no different than any other business or any other anything. Things take time. It took me 20 years to get these offers and to get some of this business. I never said it's going to happen overnight, but I tell you what, if I'd have started working on it 15 years ago instead of 3 years ago, I'd be a lot farther off down the road than I am. Like, I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but people start to learn who you are, learn your name, know you exist, know what you can do for them. They see you around. These things can take years, man. Just like any other business. So we're not all that unique in a lot of ways. But if you don't start now, that's just, another year you got to wait.
Yeah, and
Really.
It definitely takes time. I'm in a position where if Jeff was to say, "Hey, Steve, been nice knowing you. I'm closing shop," or I don't like your YouTube channel anymore, so get the hell out, whatever. I have a network of people that will take me on their authority like that.
Mm-hmm.
Since I own the truck and the trailer and the plate, I can pretty much do what I want.
If Jeff kicks you out, I'll take you.
There's another one. So I've got plans B, C, D, and E, and F, and I've had other YouTubers make fun of me for that. I'm like,
why?
I don't know, because
that's like how things should be done.
Look, I've always been a
insane.
worst case scenario, right? I'm always thinking, what if my truck throws a rod, it goes through the hood, now I need a new engine or whatever. Well, I've got a plan for that. What if rates come down to $1.20 a mile? I've got a plan for that. And we lived through that in 2020. Volumes were, your C.H. Robinson guy, instead of having 100 loads in front of him, he had 10. And guess what? They're not giving up any money if it's like that. So what do? I have a strategy for that. If I have to run west to east coast, to survive, I'll do it. So then it becomes a question of, are you willing to do it? Because right now, if you're anytime, anywhere, and you know how to manage your time and you know how to maintain your equipment, you can still make good money out here. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. My guys, are a few of them that are willing to adapt are still doing well. If everybody asks yourself, if you're on the spot, 100% on the spot market, what if you brought up DAT one day and you're used to seeing like 150, 300 loads, whatever, and you see 5 loads? What would you do? I have too. During the first part of the lockdowns, before that, Wisconsin, you could go on there and see 300, 500 loads every single day. I brought up the load ward one day, went out 400 miles, and there was 5 loads. That'll hit you right in the naughty bits right there.
Yep.
You really gotta ask yourself, what would you do? Because could it happen? Absolutely. Will it happen? Probably again someday. This isn't the end of things are going to continue to happen. Natural disasters, whatever. catastrophes. And then what? What if it doesn't get better? What if that scenario doesn't change for 3 months or 6 months?
Right. And the lack of experience and education that I've dealt with here lately has been pretty good. It's been pretty not eye-opening, but just like, wow, okay. I had a driver call me. He was picking up a load with one of my drivers, and this guy was complaining about his, non-native speaking dispatch service that he was paying. This guy's running the day cab, and he literally, I asked him, I said, so how old's your authority? He goes, about a year. I'm like, oh, okay. How long you been driving? About a year. I'm like, oh my God. And so it is possible to get your own authority straight out of CDL school, but I wouldn't recommend it,
It's you set yourself up for a tough beginning.
And so he was wanting my dispatch services, and again I was like, but he's got a short radius, lives in the Southeast, and I'm like, oh, man, I would be hours trying to plan and dispatch this guy for everything to be, for what, $30 a day, because that's what they're paying short haul right now in the Southeast, is about $500 to $600 if you're lucky for stuff that's under 200 miles. I mean, it's bad, and that's the first thing to go when a market goes bad, or the last thing to go. And the last thing to come back when a market goes bad is the short haul, because all these mega carriers, they grab those short loads to minimize their fuel costs, because that's what I do. And next thing you know, you've got a guy that's got 20 trucks. So like, okay, we'll do all those Coke loads going from Roanoke to Charlotte. We'll do all those.
A lot of it'll go contract.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. And so
it already has.
So I told this guy, I said, look, I can't dispatch you because there's no meat on your bone, right? And I said, but here's, have you heard, I'm looking at Uber Freight right now. It's got all the short haul stuff that are perfect for you. I said, I can't charge you 5% for that. He goes, Uber, like the car app? I'm like, Uber Freight. He didn't know Uber Freight existed.
That's why you don't get your authority right out of driving school. You got to learn some things.
Right. And so at the end of the conversation, he wasn't set up with Uber. He wasn't set up with Convoy. He wasn't set up with C.H. Robinson. TQL has been his main jam.
Well, I hear from YouTube that TQL is the devil.
Well, look, I'm friends with a guy who's like one of their #1 rated carriers. And they love TQL.
I've not had any. They've not done anything to me. I get pretty decent money from them.
My only complaint with TQL is the inefficiency of their system.
Yeah, it sucks.
I got to hound them for the dispatch sheet. And I can't add anything to my TMS until I get that, and it's like 15 phone calls, just, so that's the only thing that bothers me with them. But, and then the postings, not being the correct city. So I have my pad of paper, I got my calculator in front of me, and, and in the smart agents over at TQL, they'll have that already laid out,
I wish TQL would go to a Robinson model where you could get a TQL rep.
That's my biggest complaint. If they did that,
the reason why they don't is they can get away with paying less money. You never develop a relationship with any one particular person over there.
Right. And like, my CH guy, he goes, hey, I've got this load. It kind of fits your criteria. I said, yeah, but I don't know if I want to risk that. The area it's going, and not for no 1700. He goes, is there a number you'll do it for? I'm like, nah, I don't know. Probably, I'm just going to keep looking. And he goes, hey, just for, grins, craps and grins, I put X amount on this and I got it. I'm like, oh, that works. Okay. It was like $3.18 a mile. So, and then I got 3 to come out of the dead area with him. So, I mean, that's the part, and I told this day cab dude, I said, look, find 3 brokers that specialize in the kind of freight that you're looking for, and just say, and use them as your dispatcher. They'll keep you busy. They can look ahead. They know what their board has, and just do that. And that's the problem. If TQL actually did that, then he wouldn't even have to get outside TQL. But yeah, he had no idea about Uber Freight. He had no idea about Convoy. He had no idea, I'm like,
Hmm.
wow, you need some experience.
Yeah, I mean, it helps. Experience helps with everything. If you want
And-
to have your own authority, hit the ground running instead of let somebody else pay for your inefficiencies and mistakes when you're brand new. You're gonna make mistakes. You might hit something. You might get costs money when you get lost. You know, not knowing how to book loads or where all the loads and freight lanes are. Not what not knowing freight lanes will cost you.
Mhm.
I mean, a couple months will teach you a lot, but it's a different world. I think you're going to see a lot less of that now than like a year and a half ago.
CDN says, Steve, remember the spreadsheet I sent you showing difference between dispatching short versus long? Unless you charge more, short haul is too time consuming. I agree with that. But if the short haul's there, then we can make it work. I mean, at one point I was getting $1,100 a day with one of my short haul trucks, which ain't bad for van,
Yeah,
but then it just stops.
yeah,
It literally just on Wednesday evening, Thursday morning, it just stops. It does that around here.
yeah.
And a lot of my loads that I used to do for 1,000 are now I'm lucky to get $400 for. That's how bad the short haul market has dropped.
And weekends are tough now, so
Yep.
there's that. No, it's everything. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be getting into it right now. That's for sure.
Right. So
Now's a good time to. It's a great time to be a company driver, and a great time to lease onto a carrier.
yeah, and I think that's by design. I think that these companies know that a lot of guys are going to just cash out and go company. So they're on a big hiring. I mean, look at Walmart. I mean, hey, we've upped our, annual salary to 126
Mm,
instead of 110 because they know that a bunch of owner operators are going to go out of business. So,
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I, I hate to find out what it's going to, that after Christmas time, and after New Year's, that time between New Year's and like the end of March. Ugh. Save
that,
up a bunch of money so if you had to stay home, you can stay home.
look,
Oh,
I know guys in the past, like when I was at Landstar, there were guys that literally said, I don't work from December 26th or December 23rd to March 1st. I will not run. I will not work. And the first winter I dealt with Landstar, I saw why. Because in order to make things work, you have to go long. Well, if you go long, you're fighting the mountains, you're fighting the snow, you're fighting horrible rates in the south if you go south. Because everybody's going south that don't want to deal with the snow. Or if you go up to North Dakota, then you're spending more on fuel, keeping the truck running, and there's more chance of breakdowns. It's just easier to take 3 months off. So, but you have to be in a position to do that, and not a lot of people are, especially if you're paying a weekly,
yeah. Yeah,
lease.
you had mentioned about the trucks. It's hard to put somebody in $150,000 truck and hand them the keys. I will never put somebody in a brand new truck unless they put like half down or something, because I get stuck with that truck. I
Mhm.
get stuck with a couple of those, and that how do I make the payments on all that when if they quit or crash it and bring it back? And it's like, ah, we gotta have it in manageable level. Plus, if I'm lease purchasing the truck to you, I will not buy anything and lease purchase anything to you that I would not drive myself.
Right.
You're not sticking me back with a 4 mile per gallon truck. You know,
Yep.
so there's a lot of stipulations on it, and it's best not to do it at all. But it's built good relationships with a few people, like loyalty. Like they do appreciate, especially after they went and looked at the open market to see what truck prices were and interest rates, down payments. It's like I never could have done it, because this
Mhm.
was all during the height of the nonsense. You know, uh, are they the ideal trucks you want to have long term? Probably not, but they're all in a freaking great position right now. They're,
Well, Marty mentioned in the comments about 5-year outlook, and here's the thing I tell people when they're buying a new truck. Okay, if you're putting a 5 to 7 year note and you're going to debt for 5 to 7 years, I mean, we all have intentions to pay it off early, but let's say you can't. Let's say you have a death in the family, or let's say
You get
your
sick.
CDL medical card doesn't get renewed. You
Get hit
have
by a Dodge
those
truck.
situations. 5 to 7 years. Look at your life and what it was like 5 to 7 years ago. How different was your mindset? How different was the industry? How different were the rates? How different was fuel? And just know that 5 years from now, things could be completely different. So you have to be ready for everything.
It's certain that they will be.
Right.
Let me catch up on some comments here. We might come across a couple good things. I've been slacking here. Sage says, thanks, I am. Okay, you're still doing the brokerage course. With both feet, is there somewhere to look up how many MC authorities have dropped, been suspended, and revoked? Last I saw was numbers from March. Yeah, I don't know where to look that up. I don't know who publishes those statistics. Rich Taco says, yes, low volts while driving. I got 14.3 volts at the alternator while running, but 12.8 at the batteries. I found the PNDB module alt fuse keeps blowing also, where I replaced PNDB alternate fuse still blows. If you're blowing fuses, you probably got a wire rubbed through or something, or ground wire popping fuses. So yeah, definitely that's a wiring issue right there. I'm glad you gave that extra information. So yeah, just start digging in there. Even if you can't find a bad wire, you might have a bad connection. At the wire can go into the crimp. You could have a bad something broken in there, or loose on the frame wherever the ground is or whatever. So definitely check the ends of the connections too. Sage knows a guy at Global Trans. Okay. Oh yeah, there you go. Sterling agrees, wiring issue. Check and clean your grounds. Yep. Okay. Reaffirmed there. Adam Bennett in the house says, what's going on in here? Where's Cash? He was in here. He had to go make waffles. That's what he likes to do in his spare time. He just makes waffles and stacks them. See if he can stack them to the ceiling. With both feet, Rich Dog, blown fuse is a short. Probably have a wire rubbing through. Yep. Absolutely. Marty and Moore says 40%, 5% more. Ha ha. I don't remember what we were talking about. I'm sorry. Philly Trucker says there's no guarantees for sure. They should be honest and do honest business. Yes, everybody should. Okay, here you go. 5-year outlook. Honestly, I would say, 5-year outlook. Boy, I don't have a very rosy outlook for the next year and a half. After that, who knows? It's hard to say. Like, who could have seen the pandemic coming, right? That we would go through that. So all you can do is say, barring any of that, right? I would say, don't expect a lot. Like, you can make it, stay in business, probably make about as much as you could as a good company job. But I don't think there's times really where you knock it out of the park like we just came through, barring some kind of event like that. But I'd say don't expect a lot. Just probably ho-hum. I think fuel prices go back up here, after the first of the year or Christmas or whatever. I kind of feel like they're going to go way up again, but afraid to probably continue to go soft. That's in the next year. Haven't found that event to look forward to that changes anything, really, at least not for maybe a couple more years. But I would say 5-year outlook, I don't have high expectations unless and we're talking about the spot market. I'm like, if you're a company and you're going to work on, securing more freight, getting customers, and that, the bigger companies do it. That's just what they do. That's what they just continue to do over and over again over time. So, you can have your wins in that matter where, if, okay, I'm at 2 trucks right now, I want to have 10. Oh, I can secure my first customer. That's a big win, right? So you can have big wins and positive things happening inside of like a sideways market.
Mm-hmm.
Like, difference is you make it happen rather than looking for something to change in the market. So it's really an individual thing too. Like, what do you feel like you can make happen for yourself? Maybe you're a kind of guy who can knock it out of the park, and inside of this down market or sideways market, you can go out and hit it big.
my answer to Marty's question or statement or whatever is what I've noticed, and correct me if you see something different, but it seems like every 2 years there's this, it builds and then it comes down and then it drops and then it kind of does the same thing. So every 3 years it seems like we're on a 3-year cycle. 2017 rates started to go bang on the spot market, and then 2018 everybody got in the game. Throughout 2018 the rates peaked for a minute and then they started to drop slowly. And then 29 they were going down even lower, and then the pandemic happened and then boom, it dropped. And then same thing, we started to see a gradual incline, and then all of a sudden it went up really fast. It peaked for a while and then it gradual decline, and then now we're seeing the big drop. And so when you look at 2017 to 2022, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, that's 6 years. That's a 3-year cycle. So that's kind of how I've seen things. I've been doing the owner op game self-dispatch since 2014. One of the reasons why I went from Landstar to Schneider is because I didn't want to ride that wave. Schneider, Jeffrey Like at the time was there, and he showed me his numbers, his quarterly numbers, and they were about maybe a $5,000 to $10,000 difference on the gross number. I'm like, that's consistency I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. And so when I came back to the spot market, I was like, man, I need to help find myself that consistency, which is why I don't chase the big money, but yet, I don't put myself in an area where I'm not going to get 90 cents coming out. So,
yeah, you got to look for small wins. Look for your different kind of wins. I mean, there's ways to win other than just getting, a massive rate on every load. It's different kinds of victories, and we gotta start getting back to that and realizing that, and setting some goals other than just I'm gonna get the next highest spot rate load I can every single time. Eventually that wears out. What do you got? So goals, where do you want to be?
Right.
So I'm emailing somebody back here. Now I lost my email. There it is. What's like what you want to do in 5 years, or what do you think is 5 years looks like for you?
Well, 5 years, I'm going to be completely out of the truck, and hopefully in a pretty higher position with this carrier, and running part of the brokerage. I'm kind of wanting to, CDN, he had a good compliment for me in the chat there. He's been really instrumental in sending me things that I need to know. And so my plan kind of coincides with Jeff, who wants to build the carrier to a certain amount of trucks. And then once we get to that level, then he'll have to hire some people to do what he does. And then he's going to concentrate on the brokerage. So he's taking the brokerage building really, really slow, because I think right now is a tough time to be a broker, because the time to negotiate for direct freight is on a up market, not a down market.
The competition is fierce, and that whole thing of the closely guarded secrets and getting past the gatekeeper is at a whole new level now that they don't need you anymore. I mean, holy cow. So yeah, we're kind of just like, brokerage is actually kind of picking up for me. So yeah, I want to continue on that. I know it's things aren't easy right now. Nothing's gonna come easy. But even so, now, the whole relationship thing. Like my Mac dealer guy called me a few minutes ago, and we were talking the other day, and he's like, "You bought X number of trucks, whatever. We got these on the lot for 64." He's like, we'll 59. We're already taking a hit on them. We lowered them from 74 to 64. He's like, because we're doing this thing here. He's like, 59 if you need one. I'm like, I don't really need one, though. But if somebody came and was like, hey, put me in that, I've really softened. I know you guys over there at Like and stuff do the self-dispatch thing, and I was always kind of against it. I've really softened to that. We've tried it out here. I put 2 guys on it. One guy is succeeding wildly because he just continued to do what we did before. He knew it was a formula for success.
Mm-hmm.
He's continued on with that, and it's paid off big time. The other guy wanted to go to a different part of the country and run freight and do something else, and it is something they'll have to change very soon, or he's not going to make it. So we're talking about, making some changes there. I really like, they built the trust first. I know I could trust them to do the right things. So there's that. But I'd like to do some more of that where I can just do more administrating. Like somebody wants to get in the truck, like I can put the work into getting them, building that truck deal, the trailer deal, the this and that, right?
Mhm.
I think that is better where my time is spent. And then a lot of people are just looking for that freedom. They're like, I may make less, I may make more, but I just want to be in charge of my own destiny, right? I mean, you guys know all the reasons for it, why people want it or
Yeah.
don't want it or what. I've softened to that. I'd like to do some more of it. And then just, my part is still working on the customer freight because I like them. They like to pull the customer freight and then just whatever else. Keep working on that and then building like discounts and stuff and putting all them things in place that benefits all of us,
Mm-hmm.
but it makes the program and stuff better for them. It's all kind of goes together. It's kind of working out. But it's got to always keep changing too, because it's trucking.
Yeah, exactly. And back to your 5-year comment, what I'm living now is my 5-year plan when I first started over here at Like Trucking.
Okay.
And so, once I paid the truck off, that allowed more freedom. And the trailer's going to be paid off here in a few months. Not that my trailer payment's that high, but worst, retreat line is I can sell the truck and trailer for a good amount. And I'm so well connected that there are several companies that will pay me to put me in a truck if I even want to go that route. My experience with safety has allowed me to maybe do some administrative for somebody else if I ever had to.
So let me. You made a comment there that I got to follow up on because I've been saying this for a while and like I don't think people really get it. So you just talk about being connected.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, like I can talk for an hour on how these connections and being connected has made things different for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
how has being connected and stuff changed things for you and benefited you? Because I think people need to hear it. It's a way bigger deal than I ever thought it would be.
So I know single truck and small truck authorities that are just like, let's take the broker for everything they get. Let's burn every bridge that we have. You see it on YouTube. You got these
Scorched earth. Yep.
people hopping companies that burn their bridges every single time they move, and then they're always struggling. And so I've lived in the same house for 20 years. I worked for one company as a company driver, and that company has branched out. Like the vice president, he's branched out to 2 other companies. The CEO still knows of the company I was with, still knows who I am. The safety director knows who I am. I go on their Facebook page. They go, "Hey, Steve, what's up?" So that, and they in turn have their connections.
Yep.
And then if I'm doing, 10 CH Robinson loads in a month or 20, there's that connection. So anytime that my guy is not working, I call the next guy and, they keep private notes,
Yep.
So, but because, for example, there's a shipper out in the Osho, right? That ships small appliances every single year, whether I was company, Landstar, Schneider, I'm doing loads out of Neosho because Christmas season, that's the kind of stuff that they sell, the toaster ovens that, you end up returning later, that kind of thing. And so by knowing that and doing the same customers all the time, I kind of know the shippers, I know the receivers, I know the people in the office, and plus I'm pretty recognizable. And so they remember me. And I'm not an a-hole at these places. I do what they tell me. I don't slam their dock. I don't park in the way. I'm not taking out their fence. And I've used that. So, and so the YouTube channel is also giving me a network of people. I know like 3 people that are millionaires. I mean, I know people that are connected with their connections.
Mm-hmm.
I once had a friend of mine say, "Hey, you know what? If you want tickets to that Metallica concert, I can score that for you because of his connections." So, because I'm not an a-hole on YouTube, and because I practice good business ethics, which is rare in today's world,
Mm-hmm.
and I have people that call me when they're upset about something simply because I can talk them off ledges, or simply because I can give them a different perspective. Kind of like the day cab guy that called me the other day, because I've got 14 years of driving experience, and I've done all states except Nevada. And so now, did I run the Fife, Washington all the time? No, but I did run the Salt Lake all the time. I did run the Pennsylvania all the time. And I know what those markets entail. So, I mean, and as I grow the dispatch service, and as we grow like trucking, these are more connections. So if it wasn't for all of that, I don't think I could do what I'm doing right now. I'd still be in the truck, sitting in Pennsylvania, wondering why I have no net, because I'd spent $200 in fuel, or $200 in tolls, and $900 in fuel, and the load pays $1,200. I'd still be that guy. And there was a time where I was that guy. So I had to go through my trials and tribulations as well.
Have you found, and this is something, it wasn't hard for me to learn this, that because of YouTube, people think, all you ever do is win, or you should never make a sacrifice. You should never. Have you found that by here and there taking a little concession on a few things here and there, that in the long run, it has paid off like multifold?
Yeah.
So say for instance, somebody has a load, you could beat them up for $700 more. I'm just making stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
And you come to them with a reasonable, respectable, maybe $500 more, right? You could easily take another whatever from them. But you also know that if you don't, because you talk to them and hear what they have to say, that you could get this lane, wrapped up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever the situation is. Have you experienced that where certain situations, by taking a small concession, like it pays off big time, rather than, this whole, I got to beat them up for as much as I can on every single thing and win every argument? I think truck drivers, that's a lesson that can be learned in the industry.
Absolutely. So if take one of my contacts, broker contacts. If he's got a load that, say, goes from Springfield to Georgia, and he's got 10 people calling him like, I need $3,000. I need $3,000, And these are people he doesn't know. They don't have a good history, or they don't have any history with him. And meanwhile, the guy that would take it for $1,500 failed the last time because he doesn't know what he's doing. And then I call. I'm not going to beat him up for the $3,000.
Yep.
I'm going to ask for a decent rate. But then one of the things that gives me an advantage is if the truck next to me has a higher cost, I can take $100 less than that guy and probably net more than that guy, simply because of his cost. That's part of the balance as well. I'm not going to undercut everybody just to do the load, not even out of desperation. But at the same time, I want my broker to look at the phone when I call and say, wow, okay, cool, please call. Let's see what he can do for me.
Yeah.
Not, oh boy, here we go again.
I don't know this guy. I wonder if he's going to show up.
Right. And everybody that I know that just swings for the fences on every single phone call, on every single broker, and they're
struggling now.
They're more stressed. They're going in the bad places, and they're making dumb mistakes. And and I had to learn that. The first 6 months I was at Landstar, I kind of did that. And the next thing you know, I'm sitting for 2 days at a truck stop with no contacts, wondering what the hell went wrong.
So I can honestly say this now, because I have experienced it from the other side.
Mm-hmm.
by doing this other venture. The there is some guys that call on loads, and I wouldn't let them haul a load across the street. I'm not. They can't even ask me about the load. So I usually, a lot of times, I post my email. I put my phone number in the listing, right, and then I put my email there because some people will never call; they'll only email. And I got an email from a load one time. I think the guy was asking about a load because I don't know who he was, and the signature line had his name and some kind of trucking company. The email consisted of 5 question marks. That was the email. Like, I guess you're asking about the load. What are you trying to ask me here, brother? I didn't even respond to it. Or call and say, you have load? Like, yeah. Yep, got me a load. Okay, I take it. You know nothing about it. Dude, I swear to God, I am not exaggerating. I think I still have that email with the 5 question marks, and if I saved it, I will forward it to you.
You know, I dealt with the other side of that. So I emailed a broker. It was I believe it was Salt Lake to Phoenix, or Phoenix to Salt Lake. It was something like that. It was something where it was Phoenix to Salt Lake, because that's what the driver needed. I wouldn't have put him in that situation, but that's where we were. And I emailed the broker, hey, I'm looking at your load, picking up in Phoenix, going to Salt Lake City. I have a truck empty this and this day. Is this still available? And he typed back, how much? I'm like, well, and I typed back, what are the details of the load? Pick up at 8, deliver at 8, 40,000 pounds, what rate? And so I humored him and put my rate, and then he typed back, too high. That was it. That was the only thing in the email.
Okay.
And then I go, how high is it? And he goes, it's really high. And mind you, this is a separate email for each of these transactions. Like,
Okay.
we're using email as messenger, right? And I'm like, obviously you don't want to move this load, or you're embarrassed about the rate. Thanks, have a nice day. And he typed back, I'm moving these all day long for $1 a mile. But I mean, it took like 8 emails just to get a full sentence. So I can imagine that when drivers do that, and and CDN have talked about that on my channel. Money's the last thing that you ask when you're a driver calling a broker. Is literally the last thing that you talk about. Hey, I'm looking at your load picking up from Springfield going to Atlanta, Georgia. Is it still available? And then they should type back, or should tell you the weight, the product, the times, that kind of thing. And then I do my evaluation whether that load's doable, and then we talk money. Now, there's debate on who sets the anchor. A lot of them will say, well, and it's paying $1,000. Okay, well, I can get it off your desk, blah, blah, blah. And then we're discussing money. And then, depending on the market, if you got things in your favor, you can talk them up. And if you can't, if it's a bad market, they're like, no, I'm firm at 1,000. That's all I got into it. But that's the last conversation that you have with these brokers.
Because why get to the money part if you can't do any of the other stuff?
Right. And that's one of the advantages of the click and go, is you could see the customers, you could see the times. So you're not making like 20 phone calls. And that's why a lot of these people that have language barriers are going to the click and goes. And so the click and goes take advantage of that by having lower rates. Yep.
No, that is faux show. S Sunny says, I've gotten multiple offers to run direct within just 1 year of being on the road by just taking more than the other guys. And he says, I never took it because I was new and scared. I understand that. It can be a scary, intimidating thing, but be strong, man. Be bold. Like, just try it, right? Worst they could do, say no, or this ain't gonna work out. But at least you'll know. But so many people never try, and I get that. It can be an intimidating thing, the prospect of talking, to a shipper, because we put them on this pedestal and we're scared of them. But don't be. They're people. They're like me and you. Worst they can do is hang up on you, cuss you out, and hang up on you, and whatever. They don't know you. You don't know them. Yeah, CDN says Steve has built himself a wall that won't easily break down. Steve is a perfect example of how he used his experience to create proactive plans. Great job. Yeah, man, you're doing it. You're definitely doing it. It don't come easy though, does it? People think just because you say something that it's going to be easy, but like it took you a long time to get to where you are. It took me a long time to get to where I am, and it still ain't. Hey, don't be thinking that I'm, the best thing ever, or killing it. I struggle. This is a lot of work. Definitely a lot of work.
And people assume because you're sitting at home that you don't know anything anymore, right? I've got one friend that gives me a lot of grief because I'm not driving anymore, and I'm promoting products now and all that, and there's an entitlement thing. I remember talking to someone about how important it is to have a good credit score, and this person was like, well, not all of us were born with your abilities. I'm like, really?
Neither were you.
Yeah. I mean,
by that logic, Michael Jordan must be a crappy basketball player because he don't play basketball.
Right. And so there's a huge entitlement issue. Well, your problems are different than mine, so therefore it invalidates everything that you've ever said.
It lets them off the hook.
Mm-hmm.
They're making statements to let themselves off the hook.
Exactly.
So, that's what I say a lot. Human nature. People don't want to see other people do better than they are. Right? It's just human nature. And once you understand that, those other things don't hurt so much.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's how we're built. It's how we're built. Jack of all trades says, the king, what is up? Oh, not much. We're just jaw jacking. Plans are definitely needed, Nomadic Brit says. Nevada hanging out with us here. CDN says, remember the spreadsheet I sent you showing the difference between dispatch? Oh, you already read that. Okay. Yep. Nevada says, I know a team that came out and started their own authority, got their own truck. It's going well for them. Good. The people can make it. And then, things happen. I'm just saying, let somebody else pay for your learning curve. There's a learning curve to start in this thing. Save yourself mistakes, but hey, and things can go good until they don't too, right? Things were going great the last 2 years and now they're not so much, are they? I mean, it can be tough.
The thing that I run into is like, well, I have a friend that started with $20 in his pocket when he got his first truck, and then now he has his own authority. Okay, because that guy's mindset, because of how he set himself up, because of how he treats people. But that's not the norm. You got to understand that the reason why these companies put out these leases, like you guys were talking about earlier, because they want you to be inexperienced. They want you to not know better. They want you to think that this is just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where some of your success stories. There are people at Prime that have done really well, and there are people that fail within the first 3 months.
Mm-hmm. Not everybody's built to be self-employed either.
Right, exactly. And so just because your friend did it with a 500 credit score and $20 in his wallet, do you have the same mindset he does? Have you taken any advice that person has told you? That's not the normal. So when I put out general statements, you have to have a good foundation here. You have to do this. You have to do this. And I don't even use the term have to. Sage gets on me about this. I said, well, you'll want to. You might want to try this. This is going to be a challenge, not you can't do it, don't do it, should do it. I'm like, well, if you do it, if you go this route, you're going to have some challenges, and here they are. And it's up to you to put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, but let's face it, he's a vegan. Sometimes probably energy level probably ain't there, and he probably doesn't have clear thinking. So all he's really thinking about is how bad he wants a T-bone.
If you type in #vegan on TikTok, I'm pretty sure you'll get a perfect example of what vegans are like.
I'll have to pass on the TikTok. CDN says TQL has a high turnover, which is why they won't assign a rep. Okay, that makes sense. Have you started your brokerage company yet? If you're asking about me, yes, we have. I haven't had much to send out to the email list because I have a couple people that are kind of wanted to dedicate themselves to hauling these loads, and they just not. I cover them before I even have to. I put a couple out last week. I put one out going to Mass. Nobody wanted it. They should have took it. I ended up doing it. made a ton of money on it, but whatever. There'll be more. We're still getting started here, and I need to be here in this chair doing that, not behind the wheel trying to cover broker loads, because that's a pain in the ass and it's not smart. Like I need to focus what I'm doing, driving and stuff, not that. Were you up to such a task also, Snorlord, or was he talking to me only?
Probably talking to you. I mean,
Okay.
Jeff has a brokerage. We've got our brokerage, but we've only been using it on the dispatch side. We haven't really, Jeff's just kind of sitting on it.
Yeah, I brokered 4 loads last week. This week 1. Next week, who knows? We're not even there yet. We'll figure it out.
Mhm.
But I anticipate there being, like I said, I'm supposed to get those 2 Florida lanes. And if somebody wants on that lane, I'd like somebody that would do it regular. Just take one out and find their way back and say, hey, we got another one or whatever. But we'll see. That's hard to. But with declining environment in the spot market, it would be wise to do something like that. That's the kind of ideal situation you should be looking for.
Right.
But a lot of people haven't had that mental clarity yet of to look a couple months down the road. Maybe there'll have to be more pain. Can you read some comments for a second?
Sure. All right. Pneumatic Brit. Shannon says Shadow Wolf has been at Prime, but he's van living retired now. Shannon, he was at Prime for a long time, and his truck was paid off. And so when he got his next truck, it was also he just purchased it. So he didn't go through their lease program. So when it comes to Prime, I know people have done well as they already own the truck, or they're a team that works on the company side. So when I researched Prime, they said I had to lease a used truck for 3 years, and then I could order a new one. Yeah, that's how. I mean, you got to earn your way up, which is, to me, is a little bit better than these companies that will throw you in a new truck right off the bat because they want to make as much money to pay that truck off as possible. If you have a sense wire alternator and have a relay set up and vid. I get an email from AWA broker and bankruptcy alert. I must have signed up for it somewhere. Wow.
Oh, sorry, I had to take that call. Broke a load here.
I'm at where Gary Bates says I get an email from AWA broker and a bankruptcy alert. I must have signed up for it somewhere.
Ooh, well, at least you know. It'd be nice to know those things. Marty says southern border crossing individuals will make our economy go up. I believe the exact opposite, actually. It's a net loss for the economy.
Diesel, what are you doing?
He's got to go outside, man. He's got to go potty. Go chase a rabbit or something. Sterling says CDN right about TQL having a huge turnover. I know a few brokers that have left and they got so many cringe stories. I believe it. I believe it. You're talking to 50 to 100 people a day. You're going to talk to some characters and have some stories to tell.
Well, their inefficiency doesn't allow any consistency. So I would imagine that's a management issue. So I imagine it's probably difficult environment to work with. So
yeah. Mark M says in most cases, choice is an illusion. I mean, you can make that case. Like I was actually having a conversation similar to this with my wife the other night, and I'm like, yeah, there's all these things, there's this and that, but at a certain point, you just got to decide. I'm just going to do what the hell I want to do. I understand there's all these other things, but if I just always have that on my mind, I'm going to have a miserable existence. So we do the things we can do to the extent we can do them, and choose not to sit and dwell on all these things. I still recognize that they're there. Don't get me wrong, but I just they'll wreck your mind just thinking about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
sometimes you just got to focus on the hood ornament in front of you, right? So
stare at that bulldog's butt.
And you got parameters, right? Like we're a free country, but I can't walk into a building and yell fire. I can't threaten to, do anything. I can't, go around, it's not like total anarchy. And like Schneider's lease purchase program, they tell you right off the bat that you can take the truck to any carrier you want. And in reality, you can. They won't negate on that. However, it'll cost you. It'll cost you insurance money. It'll cost you a fee to move that truck. And so, yeah, there's that. So that's kind of what he might be talking about with the illusion of freedom. You still have the freedom. You just got to fall within, basically freedom in a cage. You got to follow within certain parameters. And being an owner operator is the same way. Just because I got the freedom to book whatever I want, however I want, doesn't mean I can stay home for 3 weeks and not work either.
Are you saying that you're free to do exactly what we tell you to do?
Right, yeah.
Drivers need to have the carrier's interest ahead of their own when self-dispatching. I would say, yeah, that's kind of true, and it needs to be instilled in them that there is a greater good.
Give me a second. I got to make this phone call.
Yeah, that the greater good being that when you do a good job on a load, it helps everybody. The other drivers, and you also depend on them for that same scenario, that you expect that they do a good job and handle things the right way, so that when you want to do that same thing, the groundwork is laid for you. So there is a, for lack of a better term, there is a greater good, and that's I talk about a lot with that with my guys, and that has become very evident that that's true with one particular customer that we've developed. That greater good thing has gone a long damn ways. Because when I was out there last week personally, showing my face there, the guy that we deal with came out and talked to me, and he's like, "Hey, I'd kind of like you to contract these rates on this." I'm like, "Well, we get a lot of different stops." He's like, "Well, if the load ends here, in Minnesota, this rate, and if it ends in Michigan, this rate, Wisconsin, this rate." I'm like, "Yeah, but sometimes that Minnesota load, you go Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Sometimes you want me to go to Missouri, Kansas, Iowa, and up to Minnesota." I said, "You're talking about a difference between 1,100 miles and 2,000 miles." I said, "I have a hard time doing those for the same rate." So I said, "For now, I'd prefer to just keep it the way we're doing it." He's like, "Yeah, that's fine. We can do that." So I want to keep you on this and have you on it regular. I'm like, "No, we have every intention of keeping on this and doing this for you." So we'll continue to have those conversations. But how we got there is, they're multi-stop loads. Not everybody likes to do that. There's some sitting involved, waiting sometimes. But they've come to realize over time, it's not so bad. Most of the places are pretty good. Um, and when I get empty, my goal is to buzz break right back out there and do another one. Um, the greater good was, hey, being patient, doing a good job for these people, even when sometimes sometimes the math don't quite come out in your favor on those. Some of the loads will pay $5 a mile. The ones with the 2,000-mile loads, you might be down in the mid 3 range or high 3 range. Well, to sit there and say I'm only going to take the ones that pay 5, well, being that we've taken the variety of different things for the greater good, we're in that position where they're coming to us asking us to do more for them. So that all plays in. I mean, and to have guys that understand that is very lucky. Although, I've kind of preached it to them, but they listened and they saw it through, and we got to that point. So credit is due to them also, and now they've earned the right to dispatch themselves in those scenarios. So yes, it's not every man for himself. Would either of you guys consider managing a back office, compliance, and such? I already do that for my company, and then I do it for one other guy. It's kind of a pain, really, to be honest with you. But Snorlord might be more geared to do. I'm trying to focus on some other things right now. It wouldn't be terribly hard to do. I don't know. We'll think about it. Think about it. Diesel. Where diesel? Yeah, you need to know where to buy diesel if you're going to have a CDL. It should be one of the prerequisites before going out on your first load by yourself. Uh, Jakob says, "What do you guys think about broker lingual rate disclosure?" I don't know what you mean by lingual rate disclosure. You mean like verbal? Are you talking about this broker transparency thing? Because I do have some thoughts on that. Pardon my French. It's a bunch of bullshit, and y'all need to drop it. OIDA needs to drop it dead in their tracks. OIDA forcing this issue is going to hurt you guys. It's going to hurt me. It's going to hurt you. Don't push for that. I'm telling you, think a little further than the hand in front of your face. And here's what's going to happen. All right, I'm a carrier. I also have a brokerage, which most carriers out there do. So if my carrier side, I call whoever, I call a broker, just pick one. TQL, whatever. They're big. Everybody picks on them. I'll pick on them for a second. And I say to this guy, well, disclosure says you have to tell me what you're trying to pay me $1,000 on this load. Disclosure tells me that you are legally obligated to tell me what you're getting for the load. And if the law says they do, and they will. So they may tell you, well, we're getting $1,600 on this load. And you'd be like, gosh, damn. Wow. Okay. What's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to do that load for them. You're going to get all the information. And the very damn day you're done with it, you're going to call that customer and tell them, I'll do it for $1,500. And you know what? Then you're going to put that in your brokerage. You're going to broker it out. You're going to have to tell the carrier that books it for you exactly what you're hauling it for. And guess what? They're going to do the same thing to you. You will plummet rates. You will plummet rates so fast it will make your damn head spin. Why can't anybody see that? Why? And besides, it's none of your business. That shipper is their customer, not yours. Do you want the broker? Do you want to have to disclose to the broker what your cost per mile is so that they can determine that we're only going to pay you $1.25 a mile? Because you don't need any more than that. It's not a fair profit margin. We're trying to tell them what their profit margin can or should be. How long do you and they have way more money than we do? How long before you think they're whining to the politicians about getting some carrier transparency to find out what our costs are so they can determine what they're going to pay us? But doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter. You will plummet rates so damn fast. You won't know what happened if you push for this broker transparency. I don't care what anybody else's opinion. I'm telling you what's going to happen because they will do it. They will do it. Schneider has a brokerage. Schneider has trucks. If they call and broker a load from me and I have to tell them what my rate is I'm pulling that load for, they will have that freight by the end of the day. And it will be at a contracted Schneider price. You don't think that their price is substantially lower than mine? You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. Complain all you want. Brokers are screwing you. Don't take the load. If you're not happy with what you're getting paid, don't take the load. This transparency, I'm telling you, man, mark my words, you don't know what you're asking for. And if you can't see past that, that emotional, visceral reaction you're having that somebody is, if you're sitting there and your only thought of why things are so bad is that the brokers are screwing you or somebody is screwing you, then stop. You don't have a business mindset. Figure something else out. That's not. You're never going to get anywhere by that. The reason things are always happening bad to you is because somebody else is causing it. There's a lot of things, right? And one of them is market forces. Besides, I can tell you right now as a fact, it's not a fun time to be a broker. There are places that are gouging. Yes, they have contracted freight that the contract can't be broken, whatever. They're locked in at high rates. You know what a contract means usually in the freight market? Absolutely damn nothing. Freight contracts don't hold up for crap. If the shipper finds somebody to do it cheaper, or the carrier finds somebody that'll pay them more money, those contracts are broken every day. Shippers are coming to carriers and brokers right now. You got to cut your rate. Well, we have a contract. Don't matter. I'll cancel it today. It's what it is. Cut your rate. And there's not a ton of margin right now. If you don't believe me, I can't help that. That's up to you. I make it doesn't matter. I make crap off the brokerage. I lose money every month for now because we're getting started, losing massive amounts of money, and the reason I keep doing it is to build my carrier, and to hopefully someday it will turn into something. Um, that's the facts. If you can't handle it, hey, I'm sorry. Sit there and speculate, and you know what? To sit there and these people that are saying, they're keeping 50% of the load. What evidence do you have of that? Do you have their rate? Do you? Just because the load paid that 3 months ago. Hey, let me tell you, Jack, we're in a very different freight environment than we were 3 months ago. That rate has been cut. And you know what? The transparency thing, brokers are cutting the throats of other brokers every day. You know how you see a lot of times where the same load you pulled last week, now a different broker has it, and 2 weeks ago it was a different broker, and next week it'll be somebody else. You know why? Because they're cutting each other's throats on the rate down to the bone. It's happening. Whether or not you choose to accept it, that's I can't change that. All I can do is sit here and tell you the truth. So please stop with the and please call if you're an OOIDA member, please call them and explain that to them. How them pushing that hard for it is about to screw you. If you're strictly a spot market guy, that is going to hurt you. And if you're already teetering, it might be a thing that pushes you over the edge. How much more of a downstroke do you want to take in rates if you're dependent only on those rates? It's something I'm passionate about because it's so freaking easy to see. The writing's on the wall. You just can't speak the language yet, right? You learn that language, you'll learn what it says. Do this and your freight rates will fall. That's what it says. Learn to speak that language and you'll understand. And I'm not being critical. I'm just saying you learn things over time, right? I didn't always understand this. There was a time when I probably was said, yeah, that's a great idea. We should do that. No, I've learned to speak their language and understand that that's not what you want. 1 second here. I gotta electronically sign this rate confirmation for this load I just booked. Hopefully a hurricane don't knock us out on this one. Oh, wait, that's loading. Sorry, Jakob. I hope that's what you were asking about. I went off on a tangent there for a second, but I can't. Every day to sit here and watch people on YouTube.
I'm back.
All right. You probably didn't hear none of that rambling. You're probably better off for it.
Okay. Yeah, I had the volume turned down. Angry?
Somebody triggered me. And, it's over now. It's over now.
Oh man.
Gary Bates says, "Yeah, it's true. New being the victim of the victim because the victim is the victim because the victim was not at fault because the victim is not at fault." See, Gary Bates gets it, clear as mud, right? Crazy. Yeah, we got on the transparency. Somebody's asking about the transparency thing, and I was trying to kindly explain why that will drive your rates through the floor in a quick manner.
Well, I wonder if that person, if you go to buy your Carbolicious soda, your Mountain Dew at the convenience store, do you ask them how much did you pay for that, and how dare you charge me $2 for that?
Yeah, why aren't you mad at Walmart?
Watch a couple episodes of Shark Tank, and where do the sharks' eyes light up when they go, "Hey, yeah, we charge $60 for this, and it costs us $3 out the door delivered."
Yeah,
that's capitalism, right?
What medical costs are gouged through the roof? Why don't people insist on finding out what their doctor's paying for sutures in an X-ray machine?
I took my son ER because he had COVID.
Mm-hmm.
They did a chest X-ray and an EKG. $8,300 if I wasn't insured.
Woo! Damn it.
So, anyways, we won't go back to the trigger. We won't go back to that.
No, it needs to be, because every damn time I turn a YouTube video on or look at somebody's community post, it's, oh, look at the 15-day average was 2,000. They're trying to pay 1,300. DAT has old information. Number one, that might not be the new. People are cutting each other's throats on the rates, and you know why? Because of competition, and that's what it is. And transparency will encourage more of that. If I can, snore alert. If you're a broker and I can see, I have a carrier and a broker, and I can see you're a broker and you're paying me $1,000 on a load, and you have to be transparent and show me your rate with this customer for 1,600. After I get done with that load, what's the first damn thing you think I'm going to do before the the end of the day? I'm going to call that customer and take your load for 1,500, aren't I?
Right. Yep.
Because I want freight for my brokerage, and it don't matter if I'm pulling it $100 cheaper. I'll still cover it for $1,000 and make $500 on the load, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then guess what? John's trucking down the road, when I brokered the load to him, is going to do the same damn thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why people can't understand that. And OIDA, they put out a thing where they're demanding an answer on their broker transparency petition from the FMCSA. They're forcing the issue. Once again, OIDA is doing something that I don't necessarily think is great for us. But call them and explain it to them. They got lawyers and they can't seem to figure it out. I don't know why, for the life of me. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. But it's rampant on, like, this is one of the areas where YouTube is like, I feel like it's hurting us. Uh-oh. You gotta watching a real man do some real business behind the scenes here. Trucker wife, what equipment type are you broking? Most right now all the freight is reefer. A couple weeks ago or a month ago we had a flatbed load, and that guy's supposed to be giving out some more loads here, but haven't heard from him. I quoted a dry van load today from Kansas City to Santa Ana, California, waiting to see if they accept that or not. So we're kind of open to doing whatever. I kind of explained all that in a previous video and interview with Paul from Freight Connect. Go back and watch that. I'll kind of give you the gist of what we're trying to do. It's been a very slow start, I'll be honest, but I kind of feel like it's gonna work. It's just gonna take some time. It is a very, very tough time to the cold call right now, and get into new customers. So, freight trucking still ain't loaded. Call your broker, freight trucking, and mother F them. Tell you what, I'll call you in a bit here. Am I hauling swine to Florida? No, we're hauling potatoes. Nevada's, now he's on that multi-stopper. Okay. TBT in the house. Thanks for coming in. Line, what was the question? Broker line rate disclosure. Okay. Yep, I got it right. That's how I feel about it. That's my opinion. Take it or leave it. How do I book loads with you? Email me. You can get on my signed up here with the brokerage, Adam at apex-cargo.com. Ask for a packet. I can send you one to get you signed up. And then when I have loads, I'm supposed to be emailing out offers, which I have done a couple times. But lately here, I just as soon as I book them, it's covered. Like, one guy's been calling me, say, hey, get me a load this day, and I do that. So, but he's doing a great job. But hopefully there'll be more stuff coming here shortly. Like I said, I got a couple Florida lanes coming up, so it's slow. It'll continue to happen. I appreciate everybody's patience and not mother effing me on it. But it's not an easy task. And Paul's a busy guy. He's working hard and talking to people all the time. So Patrick, 100% agree. Okay. Jack of all trades. I have my own authority, one truck, one trailer. I book my own loads, work on my own equipment. You just got to be willing to work to make it. And that's true. You're ambitious guy, right? Josh Jones, like how the prices are plunging right now. Yeah, look, the brokers are cutting the crap out of each other, and they don't even have transparency. Imagine if they haven't had an inside track on exactly where they need to be to do more of that. That's what it's what you're asking for by asking for transparency. Let's me go to the DAT load board here for a second and pick out a name of somebody here I can pick on. Okay. Ooh, I'd really like to find somebody in Southern California. Where are these people from here? We're going to pick somebody without a check mark, so that chances are they have no money and can't sue me. Oh, they're out of Virginia. God, I really want a Southern California broker. Because they're probably running a scam. We'll settle for Chicago. How about that? Pure Freight Management, right? So we got Pure Freight Management here on one hand, and let me pick a pretty reputable broker on the other hand here. How about we say England Logistics, CR England, right? I've brokered freight from them. Pretty decent rates. Never had a problem. Pay on time. Offer a lot of good benefits being a carrier for them. So we have Pure Freight Logistics and we have CR England. Pure Freight Logistics has no valid credit. I checked here. My factoring company does not want to extend them credit. Newer brokerage, possibly a fly by night. We don't know. Haven't done my homework on them. So Pure Freight Logistics calls up the England Logistics and says, "Hey, tell me about this load you got. Tell me what the rate is on it." Perhaps Pure Freight Logistics also has a motor carrier number, and they have a trucking division, the separate name and address from their brokerage, and they say, "Well, let's look here. Sierra England has this load for $3,800. So let's just say they're into it for 4,200, right?" Pure Freight Logistics and say, "Thank you very much for that information. I'll call you back." Now they have everything they need. They'll call that shipper and say, "Hey, we know understand you have this lane here from such and such to such and such. We can cover that for you for 4,000 even, right? Done deal." Especially in this market. Now you go back to last year when service was king, service was what mattered. Different story, may not happen as much. Circle to 2022 when price matters. Price is king right now. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. Especially if they're covering 10 loads a week on that lane, you're talking a savings of $2,000. Damn right they're gonna do it. Gary Bates, the broker thing is a problem if the brokers already have transparency via their rate con and ELD visibility. Yeah, we were just talking about that. Like, they have the information. Imagine if you put that key number in there, right? Because it's not going to come out of their pocket. They're going to make their margin. They're still going to make their few $100 a load. It's going to come out of your pocket as a carrier, right? They're still going to make their margin. They're not brokering freight for free. Sometimes you take the L. It does happen, but if it's a 500 margin or a 300 margin, they're still getting their margin. That $200 comes out of your hide. We got to understand that. Jack of all trades says, "I don't work with TQL. Had some bad experiences. 20 calls a day with 2 trackers on." That's the shortcoming of TQL, if you ask me, right there. That's plays to their inefficiencies. GH Doctor, we can all call our Congress representative people and ask them to sponsor a bill about Broker Transparency Act. I don't know why you would want to. Why do you want to sharpen the knife that's going to cut your own throat? I don't understand it. If you agree that brokers already have transparency without carrier permission, say because the broker buys the data, then it is a new thought. They don't have the transparency on the level that I think you're thinking. Those lane rates that you see on Freight Waves and DAT, I'll speak mostly for Freight Waves. They come from TMS systems. They report back. That's where they get them. So they know what every load in the country and every lane is covered for. Yeah. Brother Craig says, "Crybabies call politicians." Nancy Pelosi is your daddy. Oh, she's not your mama. She might be your daddy. Or Papa, what's his name? Papa Paul.
Back.
You look spent. Papa right here wants to know, how do we get in contact with Snorlord?
I will put my email in the. Well, I've got my YouTube channel, and then on my channel, it's got my email. Just pick one of my videos, but I put my email out here. Let me.
There you go. Put your link in the chat if you care to.
Okay.
Why do I forget all the time? Everybody, Snorlord has a channel. Not only that, he has 2 channels. You should be subscribed to them both, and you ought to be a channel member on at least one of them.
All right. Oh, I'm copy and pasting like I'm on StreamYard. Hold on a second here. Copy. And go back to your video. Copy and paste like I'm on StreamYard. Hold on a second.
GH Doctor, there's nothing wrong with calling your congressman and asking them to sponsor a bill protecting truckers about thieving brokers. Why? See, there you go. Why? What is your proof that brokers are thieving you? Like, I'm not asking for an opinion. I'm asking, do you have document? How much? Give me the exact amount a broker has thieved you for. Because otherwise, it's conjecture. Have you been on the other side of it when a carrier has scammed a broker? Because I almost was. I almost had somebody disappear with a load on me. Tell you what. You want to talk about freaking stressful? Whew, that was a bad. That isn't even worth talking about. It was my first load, dude. It was my first one. Anyway. Less containers from overseas, the better, because none of that's made in America. Well, that's the train freight right there. We want them to haul that cheap train freight.
Mm-hmm.
GH Doctor says, everywhere truckers gather, there's a broker posing as a trucker like Brother Craig is posing now. Brother Craig is not a broker. Brother Craig is a good guy. And I tell you what, let me say this. If you despise brokers, don't use them. Don't use them. It's that simple.
Yep.
If you can do better, go get your own. And I'm not yelling. I'm telling you, like, if you think somebody's stealing from you, don't let them steal from you. Go get your own freight. Go get your own freight. Don't use brokers. Other than that, if you can't get past that, then understand the relationship of what it is. But if you think somebody's scamming you, then and you continue to let them do it, then that's on you. An unpopular thing to say is we need brokers. We need brokers. They need us. They're market makers. You are not likely with one truck going to go to, I don't know, Dole, one of the biggest produce companies in the country, and say, how about you give me a load once a week? I said, get out of here. Get out of here. That's where brokers come in. It's just your hatred towards brokers is hurting. You are hurting yourself. And I understand it's probably piss you off, but you're hurting yourself.
It's kind of like playing football and then you get mad because you get tackled. Part of the game.
It's actually really good. Damn it! Why couldn't I think of that?
It's part of the game.
It's part of business. Like it's. Hey, and every industry has their version of a broker, right? Farmers certainly do. Uh-oh.
No, I'm still here.
Okay. Didn't want everybody to see you got no pants on, did you? Wallace says, I've said public info has been hurting us for years. Said this many years ago, and now we're in it. There's some truth. Jack of all trades, not against lease purchase, but I watched a lot of DIY videos. I took a loan, bought my equipment, and paid it off when rates were high. Warned everyone about spot market before it happened. Yeah, it's the thing to do. And if you can, I understand everybody's got their own capabilities and stuff. Yeah, it's a good point, CDN. When rates were $4 to $5 a mile, every load posted was way above, 15-day average or whatever. How many carriers told the broker you're overpaying and took loads for less? Nobody.
Well, so that brings me. So one time I had a truck. It was sprung on me at the last minute. Hey, by the way, I've got a truck empty in Indianapolis. This was Friday afternoon, and I need them in Denver. So I checked the DAT board, and sure enough, there's like one loan that fits the needs. So I call up the broker, and no leverage. Hey, I'm calling your load going from so and so to so and so, and they're like, yeah, it's paying $2,700. I'm like, okay, well, I need X amount. And she's like, $2,700. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And she puts me on hold, but instead of putting me on hold, she puts the phone down on the desk, and I can hear the other broker talking. And there was one of the, I guess it was the guy next to her, that was like, driver, you need to tell me why you're charging me $1,000 or wanting $1,000 over the 30-day on this load that you're asking about. You know, like they wanted justification of why you say the price that you do. So my point of that, and it kind of ties in with CDN. If I can do, if my costs are say $225 a mile, and I'm asking for $4 a mile, the broker can easily turn around and say, well, why do you need $4 a mile? What's your cost?
Only because you're holding me up because you can. You know, it's a lot of would be the answer a lot of people would have to give.
And so it's a two-way street. And that's the thing. If we want to burn down a system like let's get rid of all brokers, when they rebuild the system, it's not going to be in our favor.
No.
At least
No.
here we have a little bit of control. And for the life of me, I can't understand why someone would want to come out in the spot market and do self-dispatch and not want to deal with brokers. If that was one of the things I hated about Landstar. I didn't want to play the agents games anymore. So I went to Schneider where it was a click and go. So if you don't like dealing with brokers, do nothing but the click and go apps. Do email only. Know your customers. So if they're telling you, oh, it's this and this, like Nevada had a deal where, he was told there's an open window at a Kroger. Well, we all know that that's not true.
Yeah.
Kroger's
Like,
a appointment.
If you went out and bought a truck to operate in the spot market, and now things aren't going your way and you're mad about it, well, you knew that's what the spot market is. It's broker freight.
Yeah.
And stop seeing the people. The brokers are people you're trying to do business with. Stop seeing them as the enemy. Learn to coexist with them and work with them. They're not. You can't. What other business would call their customers the enemy? The broker is your customer. You service them, right? As much as you think people think it's the broker's job to go get them loads. No, it's not. That's they don't work for you. You work for them.
And if you have a positive experience with the broker, say, hey, man, what else you got?
Yeah.
Where's that going? Do you have something out of there? And then just deal with that one broker. There's been many times I've been dispatched 5 trucks. I make 2 phone calls and 1 email, and boom, they're all covered.
Yeah.
And
everything does not have to be an adversarial situation.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, I just see too much of it on YouTube.
Who listens to YouTubers anyways?
I know they shouldn't. You got to be crazy to listen to them folks. Half of them are drunk and high. Oh, here we go. I just got an email from Overdrive. OOIDA asks FMCSA for update on broker transparency petitions. They're asking for an expedited response, I guess. Josh Jones says we can't know that info unless we have transparency. Why do you think that info is going to help you? So you get that info. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it?
I have TMS software that gives me the lane rate average from customer to broker.
Yeah, me too. And you know what? Sometimes you still can't get that rate.
Right.
If they're taking $600 off the load, and you suddenly find out they're getting $1,600, and they're trying to pay you $1,000. The market conditions are what they are. You're still not going to get that $1,600. I mean, it's Sometimes I can't say it. It'll be seen as taking a jab at somebody, but it's not. But I can't say it anyway.
Well, what I'll add is that now sometimes the brokers will sit there and say that's all I got in it. That is
Sometimes they're lying. Sometimes they're telling the truth.
yeah, and that's frustrating. But still, if I'm on the phone with a broker and they say, oh, that's all I got into it, and I look at my TMS and go, well, the lane rate is this, so he's probably lying. Doesn't matter. What am I going to do? Like, well, you're lying to me. You got more money than that. Well, that's kind of a communistic view. Well, you got more than me, so I deserve it.
Yeah.
Right.
Just because you found out they're getting more doesn't mean they have to pay you more.
Right.
Let's not confuse the issues.
And so you're not going to create a relationship that way. Well, I know that you're lying, so give me more. Click.
Now, when his phone is ringing off the hook as you're talking to him.
Yeah. So to me, it look.
How come we didn't have to know transparent rates for the last 2 years when it was hot? How come we didn't have to know it then?
Well, there were people that were still assuming, oh man, I'm getting $4 a mile for this load, so the broker's getting $6.
That's the most dangerous thing right there. They're getting X.
Yep, right there.
With no, you can just make that statement and speak it into truth.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has any idea. And let me tell you what, this whole thing of all you have to be a broker is a computer and a load board, and that's all your expenses. Bull crap. Bull crap. You're telling me that my time and efforts and the stress and sleepless nights are worth precisely zero. And the year, we have one customer here we've been talking to since March. So you're telling me the last 6 months of my efforts schmoozing this customer, Paul sending him a freaking valuable newsletter every month, and building relationships. You're telling me that that's worth precisely dick, so that I got to post my transparent rate so that you can come and snatch that freight out from under me for nothing? I categorically reject that. But hey, what do I know? Papa says, thank you looking for a broker. Okay, not sure what he means. What are the pros and cons of the southern border crossings? I don't want to get in. That's not this channel. That's something else. Sorry. Dan says, do you really think politicians write the bills? No, they do not. If enough politicians get letters, they will turn to industry lobbyists to write the legislation. Won't turn out well. That's another thing. Forgetting that we don't win. Bigger companies get things. Dan's right. They get things written their way. They have the money. They win. We don't win. We are going to win. Better come up with some big money.
What the politicians will do is they'll invest stock in C.H. Robinson and TQL and Schneider and all that, and then they'll make the rule, and then it'll still, I mean, like I said, you can burn the whole system down, but it won't be rebuilt it won't be rebuilt for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I've encountered some freaking brokers that are phenomenal people.
Mm-hmm.
Like my Robinson rep, like he has proven to me that over and over again that he's not going to put my interests ahead of C.H. Robinson. That's who cuts his checks. That's who he works for.
Mm-hmm.
But he genuinely gives a damn about it, and will work. Oh, okay, you didn't quite get what you needed on that last one. No, we'll put that on the next one, or maybe I can help you get unloaded a day earlier, or this and that. And when I have a problem, like he is freaking on it, Jack. I love dealing with my Robinson guy.
When I was at Matt's, I made it a point to talk to the brokerages like C.H. Robinson, Allen Lund, and TQL, and a couple others. And I said, look, this is what we're looking for. This is the platform we need. I told C.H. Robinson, don't change. Don't take away our representatives. Don't go to a click only status. No, don't do what JB Hunt's done. Have some personal relationships, allow those to flourish. And I told TQL that because TQL, well, what's the number one reason why you don't use us? If you don't use us, well, I said, well, and I'll give them examples. I did the same thing with Allen Lund. I made it a point to make my voice heard. Now, whether it was effective or not, I have no idea. But it at least at least you get your voice heard, and those are the brokers you want to work with. So,
Put that. Yeah, you're right. What you're saying in a roundabout way. Put that energy into a different place. The energy you're putting, being mad at these people, telling them they're screwing you, you need to transparent. Put that energy, channel it into building a relationship with somebody, figuring out how well do you know freight lanes. Like put energy like freaking. There's a couple freight lanes that I have down to a T. Right? There's ones I know nothing about. I work the ones I know about. Right? I know what the rates are, both out and back. I've put a lot of time into it. Put the energy into things like that instead of things you can't control.
And if you've done 10 loads with 10 brokers that have screwed you over and lied to you, then you have to work on a filter on how to filter out those brokers. As long as I've been doing it, I can generally avoid a lot of those issues because I can kind of smell a rat before it happens, feel the room.
Yeah.
I mean, on that situation I was just telling you about, that Indy to Denver, I called a broker and said, hey, I'm looking at your load that picks up Friday going to Denver. Like, yeah, it picks up Monday. I'm like, wait a minute, you've got it posted for Friday. And he's like, no, I mean, it could pick up Friday or Monday. Not so
sketchy.
And so I didn't book it. I said, well, this is a gray area. So, thanks for your time. I always tell them, thanks for your time. I never hang up on them. And sure enough, later on you hear a story. Oh yeah, this load was supposed to pick up Friday, but I did my 200-mile deadhead, went to go pick it up Friday night, and they were closed for 2 hours, and they said that you'd have to pick it up in the morning.
Yeah.
Now I did have another situation where a driver was supposed to deliver here in Springfield on Saturday. And so after he did the first 2 deliveries of this multi-stop, he calls the customer. He goes, hey, can I spend the night there? Like, why? You don't deliver till Monday. Oof. And so when I addressed it with the broker, did the broker lie to me to tell me it was a Saturday delivery? Because the 3-day rate wasn't good, but the 1-day rate was good, right? And he goes, no, seriously, there's nothing in our notes about this. We thought it was scheduled for Saturday. They accepted that schedule. So here's some money. Let's make it right. So now I will use that broker. But if they're like, oh, well, sucks to be you, deliver Monday, I guess.
And if you'd have called screaming at him, might have got a different result.
Right. So
Jakob wants to know, have you had a denial experience from brokers just because you have dual authority broker and carrier? How about you? Would you give a load to somebody with dual authority carrier? I've had one denial, and that was from Knight Swift, believe it or not. They will not give me a load to the carrier because they somehow found out I have brokerage authority. Even though I have them very separated, I know how they found out, though. Carrier 411 told them, because now I can see that information. But they did tell me with the carrier, once I reach 10 trucks, I can come back and they will broker loads to me.
XPO has the same exact rule. And
they've let me have loads, though.
Huh?
They've let me have loads.
Well, I mean, so.
But I might have been signed up with XPO as a carrier before I got the brokerage.
Right. So that's why. So now I have another person, a friend that set up his brokerage with his spouse's name, a different address, so there isn't no intermingling between the two. And so you remain undetected that way.
Yeah. Would I give a load to somebody like that? Yeah, unless I saw like reports of double brokering. I'd look at all the details and try to figure what the likelihood was that they're double brokering. And what I would do is I would call the shipper and I would say, when this truck arrives, could you go out and tell me what's the name on the side of the truck? And if they were double brokering, I'd yank it from them.
Hey, let me ask you a question. So every now and then I'll check a broker and on our factoring company credit check, and sometimes it'll say, under noteworthy issues, it'll say no buy. What does that mean? Do you know?
It says noteworthy issues. It says no buy.
Yeah.
BUY.
No, just in general. Like, have you ever seen that if you check your credit with your factoring company?
Oh yeah.
What does that
Like
mean?
my personal credit or the credit for another broker?
Credit for another broker.
Yeah, they won't
You go
buy
buy
their invoices. Yeah. Oh, it means that their credit's no good. They won't buy their invoices.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you go on DAT and look at the brokers and you find one without a check mark next to their name,
Mhm.
run that one through your factoring company and they're probably not going to take it. But
Okay.
it depends on the factoring. Like I don't have a check mark by us yet because it takes time for them to extend you that kind of credit. But if you go to my factoring company, which is Triumph, one of the biggest ones out there,
Mhm.
and you put in my MC number, they extend credit. So it's not like, but if you use like RTS might not recognize it because they don't know because it's not on DAT yet.
Right.
But it is like my factoring company has no, yeah, they guarantee my credit.
Well, so if I look at my factoring company's credit on a broker, it'll be green, yellow, or red.
Okay.
Yellow, you look at the noteworthy issues, and if there's just no history, then I can call our factoring company and they'll approve it. Usually, it's got to be under a couple of grand for them to approve it. And like, they're not going to do like no $7,000 loan or anything like that. But if it's red, I don't even bother. And there might be I'll look at the noteworthy issues on the yellow and red. And most of the time, I don't even call on the yellows because if I'm trying to book a load at 8 a.m. and they're yellow, and I see that, and it's like 7 in the morning, then our company's out of California, so that does me no good.
Yeah, it's tough to take those risks right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wouldn't just categorically say no. I wouldn't give them a load. I would look at it, and also I want to. Like, sorry to say it, man, but a lot of these places out of Southern California are running scams. Not that to say it ain't happened anywhere else, because it is, but
and avoid the brokers with Gmail accounts.
yeah. So yeah, it's the credit thing. I mean, we're just going to see more and more scams the way that as things decline, everything turn into a scam. And you know what the nonsense is? The FMCSA could put a stop to this crap, and they won't. I got something on my mind right now. I don't know if I should do it.
Rant.
No, it'll be a whole video by itself, but I don't know if I do it because like it's not some good things I have to say about the FMCSA. I mean, do you think there's a chance they freaking look me up and punish me for it?
Probably.
I know, that's what I'm thinking. I want to do it so bad because there's some stuff like they're getting away with murder. They're making it impossible to do business. Every time you figure it out, it's this way with every business with the government. Every time you figure it out, they change the rules. Right? They have no respect for or any accountability for what it takes to adapt to the new rules they just made, how much it costs, how much you got to pivot your business, and then they come out with new rules again.
There's a systematic, on purpose destruction of small businesses.
Yeah.
It's our turn.
It protects the bigger businesses.
Yep.
But it's mind numbing. And what they're allowing to happen that is in clear violation of their own rules. The rules that they choose to disregard and then the ones they choose to enforce heavily makes no sense. It's completely inconsistent.
Yep.
And I don't know. I just got a lot on my mind about it. I want to get it off my chest, but at the same time, I don't want to put myself on the hook for something. They'd have no trouble figuring out who the hell I am. But I don't know. Maybe some things are best left unsaid. I'll think about it.
You can put it on Rumble or Gab or something like that.
Yeah.
That's where everybody goes to bitch about the government.
Yeah. YouTube doesn't take kindly to that. So
it ruins your social credit score.
Yeah, that's a real thing, man. I tell you what, that's can be the difference between the channels that they promote and the ones that what do they call it? Shadow ban? Is that what the term I'm looking for?
Oh yeah. There's a couple of YouTube channels I'll follow, and man, I haven't got a notification for 3 months. And you look, and your bell's still clicked.
They put out all kinds of videos. They're just not, pushing it out there.
So, Well, hey man, it's been fun. Thanks for bringing me on. And
Yeah. I probably got to bounce too. I could get back to work here. So
I've got some stuff to do as well.
I'm behind on our book. I'll say that.
I started, so there's that.
Okay, I only got like 3 pages in. So
just to be clear, it's Fahrenheit 451, right?
yeah, everybody read Fahrenheit 451. That's our next book review, and we'll get to it. I promise we'll get to it like someday.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Not Sunday, someday.
Yeah.
So,
All right, man. Thanks.
Later.
Yeah, you too. All right, I think we got to wrap it up here. It's 3 hours and 15 minutes. Holy cow. Thanks for everybody for coming in, entertaining our tomfoolery here. We'll do it again, and everybody have a safe, happy day.